Yo, we the Fallen Sanctum, we back once more fucking again, day 5, final day of the play-ins, and then I can finally sleep for a motherfucking day. God bless America, motherfuck the purge. But hey, we watch it to see if NA can finally qualify through the mid-season invitational by beating the shit out of Paris Saint-Germain, aka the Mbappe Soccer Club. I think it's the PCS, I don't know, the VCS, the GTS, I don't fucking know, there's too many CSs, alright, Championship Series, but I don't know what region PSG is, because Mbappe is a French soccer player, so, but they're not a French team, they speak the Alright. So game 1. NA versus the Ching Chong Bing Bong. Please, we pray to the Bwipo gods that Bwipo has a beautiful and merciful 2-0 performance. As much as I would love 3-game series, I am beyond dead and I would love sleep tonight. I'm already on my meds, they're kicking in, gonna go all the hullabaloo and stuff. But hey, while we wait, and our second series of the day is going to be a very shaky looking European team that sometimes has great talent versus, I want to say Vietnam. I want to say the Gigabyte Marines is Vietnam. But I have no fucking clue, because I think it's the VCS. But I think VCS stands for Vietnamese Championship Series. I think a G, okay? Like, I think a G. But, and then, yeah, I don't know what the PCS is. But anyways, we're getting to the Champs Select very shortly, so I'm just going to pause the video, and we're going to be right the motherfucking back once we get into the motherfucking Champ Select. So, get ready to motherfuck the purge. We gonna be back once a motherfucking again.
As we look for our
here we are once a motherfucking again. We want some motherfucking back.
Are we joined by Kobe and Vedius to run you through our first
hysterics, Kobe and Vedius. Oh,
setting a rematch. That
take you through my ears are going to get molested by the sound of the gods. God bless, I love Hysterics' voice, his accent is so fucking sexy. Hysterics, if you ever see my video, God bless you.
You made it!
I finally made it, yeah, excited to be here for MSI. And what bangers, a bit of NA, a bit of EU, and we'll see how PSG and GAM...
Good luck, sir!
Good luck. It was a close one. It was a close one for PSG versus FlyQuest, but when we look back at that series, it definitely felt FlyQuest favored pretty consistently throughout. Even in the first game, there were many opportunities that I felt like FlyQuest threw away. So coming into this series, my expectations are high for this FlyQuest team.
Yeah, there were kind of two main things. One was the lane swap. At that time, PSG really didn't seem like they had a handle on it. They did in their previous series, seemed like they cleaned it up a bit. So I know they also had that as one of their #1 things to focus on. The other thing
listen for inspired. Vi for Ginger. Ginger's Vi is apparently really scary.
For the draft phase, FlyQuest, they have the same priorities, which I definitely agree with, is ban away Jinjia carry champions. The Vi was permaban already, and they've added the Wukong to the list after the previous series. I definitely agree with that. But I think that he's going to probably go with...
Yeah, Wukong. Jinja's Wukong has been pretty impactful.
Jinja with the Wukong, the Xin Zhao, the Vi, all of these AD jungle champs, he was massively carrying.
So now we have to kind of question what we get as a first pick, gents, because again, when we started focusing more on the bot side...
Okay, Jensen's Oriana out the table, Whipple hovering Kaisa, he normally does.
Pick up, especially since the tournament has lent itself to those Kallistas, those center B1s.
I mean, you're looking at a potential, as you rightly said, Senna or Varus become the main ones that you're looking at.
I mean, Varus is good.
Depending on your priority, but FlyQuest are going to get towards the Varus. Does make a lot of sense. Now the question is how to...
We'll have to be 100% honest. I believe Masu was in the TL loss, in the FlyQuest loss to T1. I believe. Oh no, PSG, come on man, don't do this, no, just Pick Kalista, please. Please pick Kalista, pick Zeri, pick anything else. I had a point I wanted to go through, but no.
Gives options
Alright,
FlyQuest also respond because
boys, 2-0 FlyQuest. Oh, please, it's 2-0 this shit. I'm so tired.
Varus, Renata as well. Like, you got a lot of flexibility with Varus down towards the bot side of the map, so it depends on what PSG's priority is here. Do they want to lock in their jungle, or do they want to guarantee themselves a pretty strong bot side? And it looks like that the Nautilus is going to be the priority for them.
As a takeaway as well, we've seen Busio on it already a couple of times through the tournament. As that gets locked in.
Okay, at least there's no Tom Kench.
On the other side, you already said Renata. Anything else that needs to be added in here? I also want to say that, you know, Jensen with Orianna taken away and Talia. We know that Mabel's going to probably try and play Azir, as he's played throughout the regular season, he's played the tournament as well. That's also something on my mind.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Jensen pool right now, Kobe? Because it is getting
honestly,
more and more.
I feel fine about it. The Azir that you mentioned, he's still very good at playing the Azir. He's his way.
I mean, you log in the Renata here, and then you pick the Azir, and then you're fine. You ban away the Soul
in finals when they tried to make him play Annie. So we want to stay away from.
I don't think there's any bad
Annie in this draft. No,
Annie quite right now.
I mean, we are getting the Varus Renata towards the bot side. Of course, if Fly want to play it safe, they can always just lock in jungle. There's still a lot of options. Kobe, you were talking earlier about the potential of the Xin Zhao. If they want to play something safe. We saw a lot of Urgot in the previous series, and they're just going to blind pick it right now.
Even game one, you talked about it being 100%. A close series despite the loss in game one. Game one, game two, Whippo was in charge on this pick, and he will maybe be once again.
Yeah, very comfortable.
I mean,
again. Let's see what.
To be fair, I guess you're just giving up the Azir pick.
I feel like those Xin is so good, and especially when you have a Senna.
Yeah, it's giving up the Azir pick for free.
I would definitely expect those bans coming through afterwards.
I don't think Ozzy would blind the Urgot on 4 because they're on red, right? So you feel like
there's no Zins out here. Maybe we should expect some jungle
it
bans.
Would make sense.
Get zoned out a little bit for Junja's pull. It's already been
I think it's
Wukong we've mentioned.
Mid lane bans
like
from PSG.
Still available, guys. What else am I missing here?
Well, Inspired
jungle bans.
Pretty deep here. Like
yeah, but you ban Viego.
His side as well. Right. So I don't know if PSG are going to drop bans into it, but I definitely do agree. FlyQuest could.
I mean,
definitely should.
You definitely want to ban. Yeah, you ban Sejuani Viego. Put him on Maokai duty, and then
plus the Maokai.
I mean, Maokai Whippo. Maokai Urgot is pretty good.
One option they had was to continue to attack the mid lane, really narrow that pool for Jensen and put him on something uncomfortable. Or remember that they have first pickers, so they can just limit the jungle pool, then lock in their most favorable jungle matchup option. With Lee Sin taken off, Sejuani, Wukong, Vi, you're also narrowing that pool, and even though Inspired does have a lot of options, you kind of get more and more limited in terms of what makes sense in the context of the comp. And we look at FlyQuest composition right now, they don't have the most reliable forms of engage. We've seen, unless you're Jun's Renata, they don't have the easiest way to actually start off the fight. So they could, I was going to say, remove either Maokai or Xin Zhao. Kobe's already been talking consistently throughout this draft about the Xin, and it's going to be taken away by PSG. I love the approach that PSG have. So far, they've got a very solid foundation.
I really don't think TF's an important ban here. I think Urgot doesn't give a fuck about TF.
Tank jungle, they can go for the Maokai if they want a little bit more engage, or they can stick to something relatively safe like the Viego if they still want Junja to have something carry in that role.
And this is a nice takeaway as well. Let's remember, I mean, Inspired historically, I'm calling back to the Rogue days where this guy was a bomb on this champ as well. So for Junja, where we know that flexibility exists as well, feels like this could be the takeaway. It's locked in, means counter pick for top side when Anja loses the Udyr and has an option maybe to
what is this troll hover?
Now we're going to find out what Fly want to do because they've given safety to Whippo, but Jensen's champion pool needs to come onto the table.
I mean, even this hover is a little bit of a throwback there. Both Bjergsen and Jensen known for their Zillion. I don't think I'll get locked in, but the last of those junglers that we had on our list that we're talking about, the Maokai, is going to be the lock here. And it's just going to be a classic pairing with the AP damage from Maokai, grabbing the Tristana mid here for Jensen.
Okay, a very well-rounded front-to-back composition coming out from FlyQuest. I would still argue that their engage isn't the strongest when going up against a Senna Azir. Because of the amount of disengage tools PSG have, I do like this a little bit more in terms of the options that it would give them, and I think a little bit more scaling just because the AP diversity and Maokai's in this day and age is usually a little bit more tank
plays great into Azir. Honestly, Jensen could have played ASOL if Jensen plays ASOL.
Also, I think it's a very solid matchup.
But
yeah, the range is so
ASOL
nice
into Viego, Nautilus,
really big range advantage.
Very risky.
Until the Senna, of course, starts stacking up too many souls.
The problem with going for blind rumble is there's the opportunity for FlyQuest to just swap on them, very similar to what we saw the last time. You got to remember that center relatively low to these towers. So if you swap away, you put the rumble in a very awkward
It honestly makes sense that they denied.
Did not have a fun time on the rumble the last time around.
They denied
very far behind in
Viego
terms of
pick
levels.
from Inspired.
Should feel very
Because I'm pretty sure Viego, Inspired were locked in Viego.
As we saw, I mean,
it was open on 4-5.
The hot mention from Vedius there, when we saw it, he still became relevant. Whippo still pulled out a massive fire. I think the biggest thing is Fly with a bit of comfort here. Whippo again. And coming into the tournament, we talked about this team playing towards top side. This is
Malka's more like a support.
Whippo, once again on a champion that can
Malka builds like a support. He builds a Knight's Vow.
If I may say so, Kirby.
Lots of Sunfire items. One of the biggest things when we have been looking at those lane swaps is definitely
Stormmail if he's uber rich.
For both the top laner and the
probably
jungle.
stuck on Frozen Heart, so
who
won't
can
have any
sneak into the tower and who can get the extra jungle quadrants there. And that's definitely something that Whippo and FlyQuest came out on top last time around. They had the matchup with Whippo's Urgot sneaking under there. The longer you can delay that Rumble level 6, the better for you for sure.
PSG fans are out in force because this is their last chance. If you're just tuning in, you're wondering, wait, this is the last day of play-ins. We've run through with this matchup already opening up our MSI for 2024. It was a PSG 1-2. FlyQuest came back in convincing fashion after a second game Urgot absolutely blitzing through, and the third game especially, where it felt like a draft advantage with a massive Olaf for Whippo as well. Don't forget, as Vedius said before, it felt like it could have been a 2-0. It felt very dominant from FlyQuest throughout. It's up to PSG to change expectations, to come back in and show us why they are the hot PCS seed. A bit of a fun fact for you as well, this team always makes it through in spring to MSI when it's available. This is the spring champion.
Well, you can expect lane swap. I mean, it's FlyQuest. They hate laning properly. But
I think they're stinging from last.
I'll be honest. Given the fact that FlyQuest, honestly, roster for roster, maybe outside of like Betty and Woody, it just feels like an upgrade on the FlyQuest side, so I really don't see why they're trying to push a lane swap. I mean, is Urgot that scared of Rumble? I don't think that Rumble has that great of an early pre-6 into Urgot. Because, I mean, it gets caught once, burns the flash, and then he doesn't have Ignite, so it doesn't have kill pressure.
That they have mid, being more ready for it.
Sorry,
and
I'll
they
shut
have
up.
the DP on the Nautilus for the center lane.
Okay.
So you have that ability to correct much more. In the earlier stages, we were seeing Rumble lock in with Ignite, and that is definitely very, very bad for the lane swaps, but they've got the little bit of extra answer here now.
Slight adaptation. Lane swap has been made, not shown. No information gathered, I think, is the big thing as well. As note the ward that's been put down by FlyQuest in the enemy Raptors. They'll spot that jungle pathing down if it is going to be a 3-camp start, as Masu and Busio hold off. Now show Arja holding off as well, but this brush is going to be checked.
So no alcove gaming tech this time round. We have seen some top laners in the past sit in the alcove to try and sneak away whatever XP they can potentially get. Whippo looking to try and fight his way into the lane, as he often does.
Holy.
But some very nice trading from Jensen already in the 1v1 matchup.
And you guys were already talking about it, the control mage that can take over in this lane. The range advantage big as well, as they do spot out Junja on the Raptors here with the jungle start.
Yeah, I mean, but the big thing here is that Whippo is getting experience.
Yep.
Aja's not getting experience right now, was helping with the jungle, and Busio and Masu have the really slow push going on here. Aja comes over now and does get one.
All right, Aja zoned out yet again here, Busio and Masu.
But now you have to look at, if he's going to get there under tower, then they've got to call Inspired over and go for the dive. So Whippo going to stick under here, and Junja is not around, so Whippo's going to be able to soak this full wave of experience. Is Inspired going to try and head up there on the wave and go for the actual dive onto the Rumble? I think
he's making a beeline towards it.
There you go.
Things coming through. Red buff in hand at level 3. It's a good call, gentlemen.
If they pull this off, then this is just going to be a massive, massive lane swap gap here.
I mean, Junja's also not in position to counter.
How useless can we make the Rumble? The wave is heavily stacked. No one here. Vedius calls it nicely. TP, though, is the counterplay that they're going to use. That's the Nautilus coming up. But now Woody in a 1v2, or rather 2v2, as he leaves his AD carry.
So we now have this awkward situation where you've basically got Aja and Woody in a 2 versus 2 against a Varus Renata lane, which is just not a great lane to find yourself in, especially when
ironically you have the Senna getting XP now,
ideally
which makes no sense because she's the one who can't really farm because she
stuck
wants
in
to
the
get.
lane.
So even though PSG used their
That's very
Band-Aid card we were talking about with Woody's teleport, it's a Band-Aid that's still on a pretty big wound. You know, because there is still
they're bleeding, Kobe.
Yeah, they're bleeding. There's still a pretty big experience difference there. Since Bwipo was, beeline straight to the bottom side, and he was getting experience the whole time. The Urgot level 4 there. Betty now moving as well away from that lane. They realize it's a little rough, so they're trying to gank Jensen.
It's another Band-Aid, isn't it? Onto Jensen. He's going to get caught out, but at least dodges away from the CC, so Betty can't find anything more than a single soul to help get the push, while FlyQuest are still fine with this, considering Jensen loses nothing else.
And now you have to always look at these domino effects from the lane swaps. Because there was that little bit of lag in the decision-making for PSG, now even though you correct the lanes, quote-unquote, you have the chance for FlyQuest to keep on upsetting them. They come out of base, and they're going to go match right back up to top side, though, as Bwipo has this big advantage over Aja, and so they actually have to have Betty here catching with him.
Masu and Busio doing the smart play where rather than make a beeline towards top, they actually move towards mid lane, and then based on the information they have, make an assessment. They decide that they want to still play towards top, but there's also a window here for Busio to start
like 4 CS that way.
Once we get the minimap back up on our screens, you'll see him hovering around mid, setting up vision to provide that safety for Jensen, maybe even look for a play on a Maple.
Let's see, I mean, he has shifting sands available, you'd think, so it's just a poke out to help get the wave crashing, so it resets nicely for Jensen, who has the TP regardless, but still is in a good lane state.
Yeah, FlyQuest, they want to try and seek these standard, or not standard, but matched lanes, so that they can get that one-on-one with Bwipo and Aja to make the most of the experience.
They're the ones that
then if you get the top
initiated the
laners
lane,
isolated again, fighting one-on-one there, can actually use that advantage. Teleport's going to come out, and they actually could have Busio snare.
Yeah, Woody has a level advantage, so he's able to tank it up. I mean, this is good poke from Betty as well. The heal's going to be burnt, but remember, as Masu gets involved, the Varus has a serrated Dirk advantage. Betty has to be careful. As he soon gets poked out, you see why.
Very nice trade from Masu. Break will be secured by Junja. Meanwhile, Inspired knows that the grubs are going to be spawning, well, right now, and he's in a position to secure them. Has prio in mid and top, secures this early objective. So overall, a trade across the map for both sides.
And while you see Bwipo hit his level 6 here, and you're thinking, oh man, he could just annihilate this Rumble, you do have to remember that the jungle just took Dragon.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So they know that Junja is around the side of the map, and so that's why he's not immediately trying to punish with his level 6 advantage. Once they do get information on enemy jungle position, though, then they'll look to get a bit more aggressive. And there you go. The last of those grubs is picked up in trade.
And again, we see this sort of trade across the map. You look at the mini-map and you once again see Junja moving into the enemy bot side jungle, seeing if there's anything that he can steal away. But because of Inspired's pathing, there's absolutely nothing for him to garner. So overall, a very even map state for both sides. I think they're both pretty comfortable with how things have panned out so far. The biggest thing, coming back to what Kobe was talking about earlier, that experience difference between the two top laners is going to prove pivotal for Bwipo, because if they can find a successful gank onto Aja, that top lane matchup is going to blow even bigger than it already is.
And especially if they could do that before he gets level 6, but Aja's actually doing a pretty good job. He's like halfway now to level 6.
Yep.
Once Rumble gets active,
guys,
then you feel
so
so
tired.
much safer.
The yawns,
You
they
can
keep coming
annihilate
out.
a minion
The
wave
yawny boys.
from very safe range. So
they don't want to
he
stop.
might be through the most dangerous part, because Bwipo's lane here is definitely pushing back towards him, and then Aja can just catch that at his tower, get his level 6 and his little safety net.
Let's keep our eyes on the bot lane of FlyQuest now, because they've just pulled off a reset. A little bit more gold has been spent, and as they move back out into the map, you'll notice that they're moving towards the bot side. There is a wave slowly stacking up with Bwipo, which means that they could be considering a dive onto the Rumble with Inspired on the bot side of the map as well.
But remember, look at the vision line that's in the river right now. Control wards galore. From the invade you guys talked about with the cross map, Junja's been able to see this coming. Ping's already coming down from the red side as well. And it looks like Maple is willing to move. That big wave shown on our screen, so at least Bwipo is going to get turret plating as Masu and Busio move into position, but Inspired as well, also spotted on the ward.
So in an ideal world, this wave hits just as the bot lane arrives and they can threaten that dive. Unfortunately, things didn't pan out quite the way that FlyQuest wanted to. They still find themselves in a good position, though, because they can siege on towards these towers. Betting in a position means that he can still soak up some experience.
There's a deep ward. There's a deep ward. He can get teleported on, though. Woody has teleport as well. It's going to go to, oh, they can't do it to the wards yet. It's not 14 minutes.
Yeah.
But living in the past, I saw them ping the ward in lane. I was like, oh, the danger. Not 14 minutes though.
I love you saying 14 minutes. In the 10
it's 10
minutes?
now, yeah, it is 10.
What year is it?
I got so excited because I want some action. You know, the lane swap is
you and I doing top esports fanatic the other day, and now you're just like, oh, I'm into it.
But again, we come back to a situation where Aja finds himself in a 2 versus 2. Maple.
No, it's a good dodge.
He's
Jensen
trying to get the
run out of
flash out
mana.
from Jensen here.
And Jensen does clear the wave in the meantime as well for Maple. He's going to get passive procced, and Junja's here just in case, but Jensen walks it out. No Emperor's Divide. Maybe around the next objective timers.
Very much an implication of fake pressure there. Maple basically saying, my jungler's here, you need to flash, if you don't, you're going to die. But Jensen holds his nerve, walks away to safety, not going to lose any summoner spells today. Again though, we come back to this situation in top lane. The experience difference is getting bigger, mainly because Bwipo finds himself in a solo lane, happy as can be, whereas Aja keeps finding himself with Betty. And that's not the ideal situation for him. Betty's fine with it, as long as Betty can be that supportive role, get stacks whenever they can. But still, 25 stacks, 9.5 minutes in, things are not scaling in the way that PSG would like.
Do you remember as well, like we've had many series so far, I think it was actually within this series too, where Betty in game 1 against FlyQuest was like 50 stacks deep at 10, 11 minutes. It was massive. A really big start with the lane swap that enabled them to scale later on and take the game away from Fly, which should have again been there. So it feels like this is a very different environment, and a negative that we're pointing out for PSG. I want to pull out a positive, because Maple in this lane that we talked about, range advantage for Jensen, has actually been pretty good. He's keeping up in CS on the Azir, and the lane hasn't been as detrimental as maybe we set up to be.
All right, now the teleports are unleashed.
There you go.
Let's keep track of those wards, boys, because hopefully we get some action soon. With the teleports being unleashed and with the objectives coming right back up here, round 2 on Void Grub spawning should just go over to PSG. They've got everybody up here on time. And FlyQuest sending Busio and Inspire down towards the Dragon.
Very much a cross-map game that we're seeing, because as you rightly said, Dragon becomes the next major objective, and the bot side camps for Inspired. He can take a sniff around, maybe drop a bit of wards, maybe there's a
start
camp or two that he can
commentating when the game gets interesting
still
to
for another
watch.
10 seconds, but PSG...
I'm watching, but I'm watching like half
Of course,
an
with the
eye.
TP on Woody, there's an opportunity
So
still.
right now.
Question is, do they really want to try
No
and
offense, but like,
early on?
you gotta be honest, when
On
you...
the Jensen again, the flash remember still up. He's out of there immediately, but he has to burn the summoner at half HP. They flash as well, Junja. The full commit, the first blood, and PSG's move finally works to success.
Yeah, really smart timing.
My biggest problem is like when it's set a gameplay and the team's not proactively being aggressive and they don't have the... Like they're playing a scaling draft, so you know they don't want to do anything too early, and then it's just like...
Maple the one in danger, did of course commit the flash himself, but has the slide and glide to get away to safety. Masu working with Busio to get that control over the midway, meaning that they can still
Senna is so boring to watch early.
The TP invested top. A bit of a surprise from Jensen. I was expecting them to actually use that mid to contest this dragon, but maybe they believe that PSG won't fight it.
And he was kind of walking down river there too, so he teleported top and then instantly cleared the wave with Wave's AoE, and now he's walking down.
Of course, Woody has the teleport available, so he can join the fight at any moment.
Audacious
Towards
barb
him
for
right
sure.
now. But the dragon started off by FlyQuest.
My boy Denzel used to have the
Coming down
funniest
as Betty
saying
now gets into position with Junja.
I can't say
As you guys said,
because
it's a big question mark
against
as to whether
you
PSG
TOS.
commit, but they're just going to teleport the backs, or at least channel the backs, so he's going to be 1-for-1.
So what they should do now is rotate Hui back up the top side and have someone from the Dragon take over the mid wave so you don't have that super long gap, but they
So
are
Woody's going
still
Hollow
going to lose out on
Radiance
the mid wave
against
up there.
Urgot Hui?
And Woody's going to get some more damage on the tower. Here's another look at the
I
nice
don't know
gank from
about that
them.
one, Chief.
Jensen not quite connecting the fear onto the Azir means that Maple able to set up the play for his team. Junja the one that secures first blood, and a small goal lead right now for PSG. I would say
Zergot hasn't done
a
anything.
little misleading because of how the bot lane is playing out, and like the fact that Woody is getting all these solo plates. Of course, this Nautilus getting
That's the big
very
problem.
tanky very early
Right?
on.
Guy's been a solo lane Nautilus for the longest time now.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that Nautilus has more gold than Aja does, almost the same level, even, which of course does have advantages, another powerful front line for PSG to be able to play around. It's going to be valuable the later this game goes, but in terms of the map pressure and the way that FlyQuest is playing the map overall, I favor their current state. The question is, can they really convert this into anything? Because overall, it's just been a lot of trading around the map.
Yeah, we'll see about these team fights. All going to come down to these mid-game team fights here. And if you are looking towards Jensen right now, because he expended his teleport, he expended his flash, you know, the Hui is kind of a vulnerable point on the map. That's why he's playing pretty safe at tower, and it's probably going to mean that Maple and PSG are going to get topside push for free, because he really has to respect any of those repeat moves.
Because we kind of look at options on the map for both teams, and I love what PSG is doing. Because the wave on top, yeah, so this is the interesting situation both teams find themselves in. I was looking at the map and I was thinking FlyQuest, they could look to set up a dive on bot, try and secure that tower, only 2 plates left, maybe unlock that tower, threaten a dive onto the weak side, Rumble, who's only level 9. And PSG said in their minds, well, if that's their play, we can actually cross-map. But the problem is, Rumble with the Equalizer, a huge amount of wave clear.
Yep.
Hui on a side lane, a huge amount of wave clear. So both of these teams are struggling to find options inside just because of the sheer amount of wave disposal units that they have in the form of Hui and Rumble.
And I've noticed as well, they've lost a lot of tracking of Junja, now only seeing him in the Herald as they'd expect to, but a lot of the ward control has been covered by PSG. As now the TP is coming through, you talk about on the Rumble, well, if he overextends, there you go. It's fear beyond death time for Archerers. In a 1v2, he just has to get hit, just needs the cooldown. Pwipo's going to flip him, and he's surely dead. A kill over to Pwipo, and a great TP timer while they stack the Herald.
Exactly. They know PSG on Herald, there's going to be no jungle support. They get their kill onto Aja. Aja, when he does revive, will have his teleport, but it's still going to be a strong, strong push there. So Maple gets top side first turret bonus, but bottom side should answer fairly shortly here for Pwipo.
Eventually.
Ooh, wow. I mean, credit to Aja committing the ultimate on his death to delay this siege. Means that there's a huge tempo advantage opportunity here for Maple as well. He's going to get that opportunity to throw that base out now.
Hex gates as well mean that they could really get there quickly, so.
I think it's still going to go down.
Fall, though.
Yep. So it is still going to be a longer trade. Localized gold not there, though. And
not unhappy with how that played out.
No way.
They still secured a tower on the top side. They got the Herald, making it much easier to siege into mid. And again, we think about these control mages, very annoying to siege against, especially when you add things like a Rumble and a Maokai ultimate and a Varus Q. A lot of wave clear on both sides. The Herald makes that mid siege so much easier, which why I expected a little bit more priority from FlyQuest, especially with this lethality Varus. You have that much extra power in the early game. With FlyQuest saying they don't want to take the fight, Whippo out a bit of danger.
yeah, and there's good damage here. He just picked up Kraken Slicer. Junja's strong, but Whippo, maybe with a Black Cleaver, I should hold my words. Betty with a root down, hits on the minion, and eventually the small Krug gives the binding, and that opens Archer.
They bought time for Archie to open up, so
PSG
that's really good.
Very happy with this one. The only other question to answer now is topside getting pushed by Hui, but Aja has his teleport, so they've got another answer. Aja can go back, purchase, and then teleport, catch, or actually they just rotate Maple over there to catch that top wave. Probably only lose out on one of the minions.
You know, we've been talking about dives and we've been talking about side laning a lot so far. The other thing that's annoying is having center in the game right as well. Delays time, adds damage, but also the shielding. Quite nuts even early on. Another thing that gives PSG a bit of a bonus playing out these lanes as they've been doing so. Speaking of which, Maple up top side right now clearing out. Has the teleport in about 45 seconds, which is going to line up with our Dragon timer, which is up in 30.
I mean, Maple, now that he has a long lane to play through, second time now we're seeing him get that deep push off. The early rotate comes through. Jensen has the TP available. Pwipo making his way towards mid, and now we get to see what is a bit of an ARAM, but it makes sense because both these teams are fighting for this mid-wave control. Remember that PSG also have the Herald.
It's also Hextech, which is amazing on PSG.
Push, then with the initial move
it's
into
very
the river,
average.
and it'll be PSG, in theory, to start off this Dragon.
Herald placed down as a delay. Teleport's going to be burned. Remember, that was Jensen coming in. As they clear that away, Herald is just a byproduct of PSG getting more control. Into the river, FlyQuest move. Arja zones out, the Nature's Grasp comes in. Need a quick smite and it's secure, but Junja now, and the rest of PSG need to get out, but they turn for the engaged equalizer. Absolutely gorgeous. Inspired, burning to a crisp, manages to survive, but Pwipo, with his trade-off, turns it for Fly. Now for PSG, they're thinking about getting the chase using that range, but Pwipo got what he could at the cost of losing the third Dragon.
Very, very close on that one too. Do you see how low Inspired got? Junja was almost able to get the execute, almost able to get the reset, but FlyQuest, they do kill the Rift Herald and they get their one champion.
I mean, that felt really good for FlyQuest. Sure they lost Dragon, but they denied Herald, plus Purple got another kill. And Purple's like a big part of the win condition with Jensen. Plus, they didn't get the kill Inspired.
His ultimate ensures they get that Fear Beyond Death. They get the execute, and then they escape. So pretty close.
Oh, no, we're back. Suddenly we fight once, we're like, let's go again. The yoink in from Woody is good, but Junja is too low to continue the fight. FlyQuest moves through this choke as the 3-man. They draw back with a great handshake, but Maples does it again. The Spring Kings set up, lure them in, and North America are shocked.
A promising initial pick converts into an overextension from FlyQuest, and they are punished. Maple, with the exceptional Azir ultimate, secures a one-team fight for PSG.
Maple sweeps in the hero there for PSG, kiting back through the jungle. Into the fog of war there.
Yeah, well that's the biggest problem with like the Maokai support build or whatever, or like just a jungle support build. They're not actually
with a nice punish.
tanky.
Ultimately, FlyQuest, they found a really nice pick onto Arja, but then they got too hungry. They saw more kills. They thought this could be a huge snowball. Jensen commits to the top tower thinking, hey, my team will get a pick and we can back off, and it's a thing that we've been seeing from both FlyQuest and Fnatic throughout this tournament, this overextension, this overcommitment. Good initial pick, promising start. They know they have the numbers advantage, but they don't expect Maple to turn the fight around.
And again, I want to highlight the Hex Gates, which allowed Woody to get there really quickly as well. So Woody got there really early on the Nautilus, the tanky, basically solo lane Nautilus, and then when Maple teleports in, it's all over. Good night.
Old fans will remember as we go for the hostile takeover again. It's actually a good one from Busio, but under the turret, it gets destroyed and ignored. Busio, it's going to drop. No, excuse me, Arduous. Bwipo jumps in again. The Urgot, a pain, a thorn in the side of PSG. Junja running forward though, and the bailout won't save him as FlyQuest are getting hella low. And Maple now using his range once more. A double over to Junja, and just when Bwipo comes online, it looks like FlyQuest are torn apart. Junja with the extended chase is going to drop on down, and PSG are running over them.
A triple for Junja, and PSG aren't even done. He wants a quadra. Jensen's going to be able to back off. They don't give it to him, but PSG, again, they are sweeping these team fights. That one was a little bit forced there by Bwipo because Bwipo had his ultimate and he knew he was going to be able to get the fear, the lock in there, but he flashes too far forward from the rest of FlyQuest. They could not follow up past the Azir turret, and then it's just the Urgot getting burned down. Again, even with the bailout ready, nobody on PSG was low enough for them to kill for a second kill and get that reset. So here's what I'm talking about. Look, they do focus out Aja, and they're able to get him so low that Bwipo wants to use the fear. But the Azir turret goes up, and look, the rest of FlyQuest have a hard time getting through Maple. Maple is just holding the line there again, and so by the time the team gets over to where Bwipo is, he's already toast, and the rest of Fly have to run.
I mean, I think it's worth thinking about how FlyQuest actually want to play these fights, right? They want to leverage the poke that they have with this lethality virus. They have a lot of range on the Hui. You want to chip away your opposition before fully committing to a fight, and PSG committed a lot of their resources to siege onto this tower, but then FlyQuest put themselves in a situation where they said, we still need to force this fight, rather than leveraging the strengths of their composition. They could have just conceded the tower and then looked to make a play elsewhere on the map, but instead they get baited into a fight, and now they find themselves at a 4.5k gold deficit.
And these fights, these team fights in the mid game are where PSG are at their best, and after back-to-back ones right there, you saw it on the gold graph. Now they've got full priority over the vision, leading up to Baron, and FlyQuest have to check.
They're trying to bait them in. I mean, PSG aren't all together here, but FlyQuest are grouping up and trying to use Bwipo again. Remember that Bwipo in the series prior in day one is what carried them through. It was such a big pivotal point. He's trying to do it again in some of these fights, but PSG aren't letting him. And getting through Woody is another point we have to mention. This Nautilus has got solo EXP, solo farm, is hard to deal with and hard to burn down, even with that range.
So PSG right now are just controlling vision around the top side of the map to try and deter FlyQuest away from getting any sort of semblance of vision around the Baron, but they're using this control over the top river to move into mid as the wave arrives, to then transition towards the Dragon to secure their third Dragon of the game. FlyQuest are rapidly losing control of this game, and it comes off the back of, you think about it, that single overcommit in the enemy jungle to set up for that early triple kill in favor of PSG, which now converts into a 7-4 kill advantage and full control of the map for PSG.
And 5k gold lead just about as well. Look at the top of your screen, now on Soul Point. And also, the majority of that gold is coming from jungle, by the way. Junja has been set up through mid, and his success continues rolling through. 3k is just on him with the advantage. Now with the second item as well, and his damage throughout. At least Jensen's doing some in the bottom lane, but still something to fear.
The thing about these Senate Azir compositions is that they're just so simple to execute, right?
Sure.
Great scaling, solid laning, and I think the FlyQuest did the right thing in the early game with regards to the lane swap, and they had a big advantage, but so far they haven't been able to leverage that advantage in any way. It's been a very neutral cross-map game with which both teams have just kind of traded objectives. 3 grubs to 3, it was 1 dragons to 1, the towers relatively even. But PSG found small advantages after small advantage, and a single fight is all it's taken. So FlyQuest are now going to need to find a pick. They're going to have to leverage their poke to try and chip away at PSG, starting an objective that they have no right starting. It's going to require some impressive play from FlyQuest to turn this game around, considering PSG is only going to continue to scale.
Yeah, and PSG are so comfortable in this state too.
Yeah.
They are not going to give you an opening for free. So FlyQuest, they have Jensen push out on the bottom side. He does have his Unleash teleport ready, trying to get something for themselves and at least get that bottom side under control. But all of PSG use that time. Wards are up around Baron now. There's one outside, nicely placed earlier, that does not get spotted here by the PSG controller that's inside the pit.
They know. FlyQuest know. Inspired's going to walk up. Sapling comes through. PSG spotted out, rotate away, trying to bait that Baron that we talked about again, especially with Arja having TP available as well. FlyQuest moving into the choke, and Jensen just has to deal with the wave while PSG hold control in this river and still act like a nuisance. I mean, this team playing with great time, as we already talked about. Their range getting so annoying. Just such a great start of the series. Better than day one. This is development from PSG, from the PCS first seed.
Now they can just wait for Aja to come over too, because Aja pushed the bottom lane all the way back there from their secondary turret. He meets up with them through the red jungle.
I mean, right now PSG is playing a very calm and controlled game of League. It's FlyQuest throwing out the ultimate to make sure that they can get that red buff. They lose it.
With the hook in, front to back, equalizer again. Ardre is burning them all down. FlyQuest have to get out of there, as again the equalizer, now that it's through, Arja has to rotate, but the Spiraling Despair may have brought North America back into action. It's a Severing Bolt, it's a passive ready to be proc, but Jensen's ulti starting to burn them as well. 5k damage. Okay, FlyQuest is still in this.
Jensen doing some serious work in the team fight to buy FlyQuest back some space. The Dragon still 2 minutes away, mean there's no major objective to secure, but FlyQuest finding a little bit more hope in what feels like a lost game.
Yeah, the burst damage here. Jensen approaching his level 16 there on the way as well. Let's take another look at it. You mentioned it, they were able to get the smite there for PSG, so they got the red buff. And then the Rumble ultimate over everybody was quite nice, but Redemption comes down, so even with the Senna ultimate going through, Inspired and Bwipo immediately turn towards Aja when they see him flanking on that other side, and then there it is from Jensen. Does get the last pop, even as Bwipo popped shot out his ultimate.
I didn't notice it initially, but that Busio ultimate was fantastic.
Yeah.
It provided so much space for FlyQuest where they could actually then just focus the front line, and then Jensen could kind of readjust, you know, take that time to think about what he wants to do and then swing the fight in their favor. So great team fighting there from both Busio and Jensen.
Western Renata so far looking pretty good. Jordan, I'm just going to put him in the category again that he's Korean. He's on Fnatic. But these Renatas making things happen. I think more specifically, so far for FlyQuest, when they're so far down, the counterpunch and the choke looks so nice. We just have to see, though, what happens from here, because Gents, Dragon's up in a minute, and that's going to lead to Soul for PSG.
Yeah, that's going to be the big point of contention, right? FlyQuest, after winning that fight, been able to secure a few more items. You can go back to the bottom of your screen, look at Jensen. He continues to get stronger, which is going to be crucial. It's just important with regards to how FlyQuest play these fights. They don't want to play too quickly. They want to try and leverage their range, chip away whatever HP they can, and use the poke from Marsu and Jensen before fully committing to the fight.
No, another concern as well. On the other side, let's just revisit PSG. 3-item Azir has popped up as well. Crypt Bloom, Nash's, also a Leandri's.
I want to think Woody is over-investing in Magic Resist, because it's literally just a play.
Top lane at least catching up as well, so there is a lot of damage to come through in this fight.
But I guess he really needs a KD.
FlyQuest, though, they need to get access to the bottom side river so they can start throwing out these saplings. Otherwise, PSG can move in first and force FlyQuest to run through them. Wrenchline
starts it off at the very least. Woody goes in, he's tanky, but Inspired's frontlining, has to flash away the knock-up in the back line, the equalizer again, but Woody has no support just yet. Bwipo roots them all! Not a mistake. Okay, caught out, but not forgotten. Maple can't get the range. That was dicey, but FlyQuest are now zoned off the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, FlyQuest are chunked so low. Bwipo's going to try and teleport back as the rest of them try and keep control of the mid wave, and that's going to be Dragon Soul gone. PSG, they're able to get it, and now they turn their sights up towards the Baron area.
Like we're
trying
to
know if they
can
just force this Baron, though, against Senna Azir, level 16 Maple as well. It's a scary prospect, and they've realized that. They're going to back away. They're going to try and defend their base, but now this opens up the Baron for PSG. We know that Azir is such an effective Baron-taking champion with the Soul to boot. That's a threatening objective that FlyQuest have to be scared of.
We have to see what happens to the side lane, because meanwhile, Arja is getting tanked on, and Whippo just looking for the solo kill at least to change their fate. He's got good damage, but Arja's buying so much time while Baron's being done in the meanwhile. Whippo just needs to get the kill and get the TP in. Arja again, he's also burning his health bar as the Baron still goes down. Arja dies, but Whippo can't join the fight. Inspired about to die as the Nature's Craftsman again. The Berserk flies through, it's good from Busio. It's good damage onto PSG, but FlyQuest need to finish the job. Watch Jensen, he's got range, he's got flash, and he needs to connect 2 and 2 together. Woody's out, and he's out so far that range is not the advantage anymore. Baron, TP, run, kill. Whippo's idea right now as he gets rooted down and looking for the edges, Junja, but he's not needed. Fear Beyond Death goes to the wayside, and PSG get away with 4 members with the Purple Worm.
Yeah, and PSG actually turning around now, looking for a little bit of push of their own. They've got Aji in 10 seconds, and he has Unleashed Teleport ready, is what they're thinking.
You're right. I mean, again, they're feeling so confident.
Not here, remember?
There's no stun down. There's no root down as well for FlyQuest, walking into their own trap, trying to get back. The piercing light comes through from Betty, the ulti great, but again, FlyQuest need to run. Archer's now TP'd in. Inspired has joined back in onto Whippo. They're just trying to find the decisive team fight to end the game as Equalizer. Zones off, and Whippo burning down. He goes into the bailout, but he gets no reset. And even after the Baron, they feel confident enough to know we have scaled against FlyQuest in game 1.
What a strange fight flashing from Betty. Jensen.
Close to dying. I mean, look again, they're using what I've said over and over. The range is there. Betty, auto, and Maple flies through. He finds himself a quick double. And PSG are definitely finding themselves a win in this game.
A convincing fight for PSG. The Baron, the Soul, the Nexus in their eyes. They're looking.
To be honest, FlyQuest played this game really badly. Like,
again, PSG,
they lane swapped when they had a priority top lane. They picked the Urgot, and they
with great numbers to farm.
They made him do nothing. Like, sure, we got to put the Rumble behind, but like, I don't know, Ozzy hasn't done anything.
They're not going to end it right here, but Inspired wants to get a pick up and find something back.
Whippo has more KP than Ozzy does.
Double turret is down.
That tells you something.
Yeah, they'll be happy.
Whippo's been part of all the kills. He's the only one with 100% KP on his team.
After that, the easy reset for PSG, and wearing that Dragon Soul, all they have to do now is return to bottom side to finish the rest of the base.
What an impressive set of plays from PSG. This top lane sequence is just a matter of FlyQuest.
We need Inspired on a jungler that does something. Like,
playing along fight, knowing that they have the available. He comes in from the flank. Inspired finally rejoins the group, but at this point, FlyQuest has nothing left but to retreat.
Yeah, which is why, like, at this point, you know, they're gonna get run down. I'm more thinking back to the pivotal point at the Baron when Whippo had gotten the 1v1 kill and had teleport ready, but it seemed like FlyQuest didn't immediately pull the trigger on trying to make a comeback play there, and his teleport's a little bit delayed coming up to the top side when they're trying to chase, and then at that point, you know, they've kind of wasted a little bit too much time. Some of these critical, like, seconds in between some of these plays here.
I mean, I will say that that's kind of been the moral of the story. I feel like the FlyQuest have just missed opportunities in this game. And PSG, with what has been a great scaling composition, they've played the slow game, they've taken their time, and they've executed well. And now FlyQuest find themselves backs against the wall here in game 1.
The reason why Junja got MVP.
Yeah, just after the jungle that doesn't do anything.
MVP, I should say. This guy holds control, even on things like Viego. Never really lets go, always held a jungle advantage. Inspired has been shut out, and that was the story so far, against T1 especially too. No, it was T1, but still, Inspired's been a little bit quiet for my liking when we know his high ceiling. FlyQuest are on the defense here, and ladies and gentlemen, look at the gold, look at how the map state is. How do you find a window, how do you find a miracle in this game? When PSG are 11k gold ahead, that Azir has Sonya's, and now that bottom turret's about to fall, with Betty hitting from about 10 kilometers away as well.
The best case scenario for FlyQuest is to buy enough time to try and flip an Elder. If they can somehow steal that away, then there's still a chance of them winning this game, but PSG, they're not going to give them the opportunity. Another tower falls, another inhibitor is exposed.
That'll drop too soon. Minion wave from the top side coming in. It's supers as well. Look at the poke once more. Center ulti flies through. It is Yihar inspired with the nice redemption to come down, but it won't save him for too far long. And PSG now just have to clean this up, dot the I's, cross the T's. When you're at MSI seeing such a strong performance on the backbone of being so flimsy against FlyQuest on day one, it's improvement, it's performances like this that makes these guys true Spring Kings. Back to MSI, a PSG, and back to a game one win in even better fashion than they started with as they move to match point to get to the main stage.
Junja, Maple,
All right, game
and
two in a
Benny
sec.
all.
All right, game two, boys.
As we move into
Can we
blue, PSG, red.
Can we get a good draft?
We got him right where we want him.
Yeah.
That was him, right?
That does sound like him.
FlyQuest lost the first game of the previous series into a reverse sweep, so that's what they're looking for again here. Again, the Ahri vibe remain banned here. I do still think that is good ban strategy. The Senna over the Wukong is much better though. This is a really nice improvement. The Azir caused them some problems, but the Senna scaling is just...
I mean, they're blue side. They can first pick Senna. They can first pick the Azir.
Well, let's see if the priority is still the Varus here for FlyQuest, or perhaps they want to shift that over towards something like a Kalista.
No, it's not very much too much, I
We'll
guess.
see. You imagine that for
He poked
PSG,
the bid,
they're going to
but
run their
like...
ban out with the Orianna, and there it is once again, targeting towards Jensen, often earning that respect towards his
I think you just picked the Azir here. You get it off, you get it away from Maple. Yeah, you just pick the Azir here.
I wouldn't mind an Azir priority.
Yeah.
Shift up that
Really
mid
good
lane
takeaway,
instead, just get it. And there it is. Love seeing that from FlyQuest. I think it makes a huge amount of sense. This does, of course, unlock the opportunity for Varus response from PSG, but I think FlyQuest have plenty of ways to answer it, especially if they are willing to lane swap once again. I think that their fundamental start to the lane swap in the previous game was good, and if it was in a better AD carry matchup, perhaps that could have served them better moving into the mid to late game.
And the only thing really that PSG want to correct from last game is like Aja's placement. So maybe getting Aja on a you know, like Udyr or the Twisted Fate or something like that.
I think here you don't really care about the bot lane. You get the Viego, Azir Viego, Azir Kalista.
So I'm a little bit scared here. The scaling once again does have another stacking mechanic.
I've been told by a lot of pros that like they consider the Aurelion Sol Inquisitor as you get free scaling through the laning phase.
Ferris Renato
Really
would be
nice
great.
adaptation.
Okay, Jensen's practice against APA.
Oh, okay. Maybe not the same, yeah.
The original Aurelion Sol. Okay.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
But they also paired it with Betty's Kalista. For PSG having a lot more, you know, aggressive lane for the bottom side of the map. That didn't necessarily turn out great for them last time around. So immediate answer here from FlyQuest.
Support.
Yeah, 'cause it's not a flex. Azir's already there, so we get it 100% guaranteed. The bottom lane there from FlyQuest right on the sheet of paper.
I mean, domestically in Europe, we've seen a fair amount of this, and it can be incredibly impactful. Carrier, also a very well-known Nico support player.
Renata or Nautilus options for Kalista too. Still has a lot of support options to pair with it. So
they want to just lock in a strong jungle for Junja. Gonna go for the Xin Zhao pairing with the Aurelion Sol. Often you'll see that where it's a little bit more supportive, a little bit more scaling mid laners, have that hyper aggressive engaged jungler in the form of the Xin Zhao to give you that bridge, and also just sets up to playing towards the bot side of the map.
Very so.
Could very well be another lane swap situation. We'll have to wait and see how the rest of the draft pans out, because top lane is going to determine a lot. Once again, we'll see PSG attacking the jungle, very similar to what we saw in the previous game. We imagine that we'll see something like the Sejuani, which is already banned away. The question is, do they want to go for the Maokai? I think they'd be fine letting the Maokai through. I wonder if Viego will be the ban this time around.
FlyQuest definitely needs some frontline on their side, so you know, any of the kind of beefy options there, I feel like would be a good choice. Meanwhile, they are trying to protect themselves with that top side and ban out the Twisted Fate from Aja.
Now, back in my day, when Bwipo was in Europe, he was a big Ornn enthusiast, you know?
He was.
I think that if they're looking for something, a reliable way to start off fights, like relatively safe blind, also works in the lane swaps, I think it's definitely an option. They could also be considering things like the Sion or the Zac. Of course, Zac being a little bit more risky, depending on the matchup that you have paired up against you. And it depends if they save that counter pick for Aja as well. We'll have to wait and see the support pick you imagine now going to come through as the Nautilus panned away by FlyQuest.
And just a quick note to touch on, you know, we've already seen it before. Of course, the Urgot being banned away means that we might be more lenient towards something like the Ornn, especially with the Azir comp. So it's a nice touch on, Betty. But for now, the support you mentioned, I mean, Kalista Ashe, such a powerful Eastern 2v2 duo.
It's
who would have guessed it? But this is a powerful 2v2 that I guess for FlyQuest definitely don't want to go into this time.
All right, FlyQuest here going to pick up a couple of
flex. It's a flex, right, Jens?
Yep.
Right back to the Rumble. Definitely is a flex.
What are you feeling, Kobe? What's very FlyQuest right now?
I kind of am feeling the Whippo tank angle, but you know he could just slam down like a Renekton or something like that too. Then you have a little bit more of a bridge.
Yep.
For both avenues for it. Honestly, for Inspired, he might be back on Maokai duty.
I don't love their engage still. I mean, Nico is a fine way to start off a fight. You're very reliant on your flash to actually start a fight off, maybe even finding a flank as well. It's not that FlyQuest is lacking in crowd control, it's just how do you approach these objectives? You've got the Renekton to act as a frontline face check.
Oh,
he's going for
with
it.
a carry. Okay, so a little bit more agency in the early game. You're looking at FlyQuest having tools to make plays around both bot and top side of the map, while Jensen primarily acts as that bridge towards the late game angle. So how will PSG round out their composition, of course, because their early game is very much, if they do go for the Kalista Rumble bot lane, hyper aggressive, very powerful 2v2 bot lane. With the Aurelion Soul as the scaling late game, PSG have a very powerful teamfight composition with all the utility they have at their disposal.
Ashe? Okay, Rumble top. So we get the answer of the flex in the end. I was going to wonder, because Arja is also a Narb player. Just wondering how we went in that direction, but we get more AP through both solo lanes this time. And as you said, a very decisive bot, even more so with Ashe and Kalista, one of the fastest 2v2 turret takers at the moment in this lane swap, regardless if they're going to be in the standard lanes or not.
Okay, definitely a little bit nervous for this one.
I love the prep.
I do also want to note, though, because there's some interesting little things with Nico support. Like we saw this a little bit with Keria, where you can disguise yourself. If you are going for the lane swaps, you can disguise yourself as the Renekton and then feed false information to your opponents in the early stages if you go for those deep wards. Jensen as well, maybe feeling a little bit nervous.
I mean, the pressure's on
rubbing
right
the
now.
belly for good luck.
In the last time they played, I felt like FlyQuest lost game 1, and then they reasserted their dominance in game 2, game 3. This time around, it felt like PSG came in with a very clear plan and executed upon that plan well, and FlyQuest were lost of sorts. They didn't really have the tools to find those opportunities. Now, though, inspired on something that I think he can have an impact on, so my eyes are on him to get the ball rolling for FlyQuest in the early game.
If it is standard lanes too, it's pretty scary for FlyQuest because in the regular season, you know, Aja on the Rumble, pushing up, getting deep wards for Jinjia, for him to be able to go for, you know, invades, and definitely spells some dangerous stuff for keeping control of your jungle.
I mean, the biggest concern is, to reiterate what Vedius said, the first series, the first one that opened up MSI, looked so good for FlyQuest. It looked quality. But right now, PSG are playing their game. They've got the Aurelion Soul to back that up as well. Our Spring Kings of the PCS are one step closer to getting into the main stage and getting revenge for last year, where Golden Guardian said last chance qualifier. That's an easy 3-year.
It's important to remember that last year was the first time we introduced second seeds into MSI, right? Primarily, it was an exclusive tournament to the winners of each of the regions, and North America, as you rightly said, dominated when they did go up against their rematch against PSG. So for FlyQuest to lose here would definitely be a huge disappointment for North America, but I'm not going to count them out just yet.
Not just yet. Remember, reverse sweep if you're counting in a best of 3 from FlyQuest in the first series. A quick note as well, I mean, this team, first in regular season as well. I think one of the most innovative I've seen out of North America recently as well. And seeing Inspired and Jensen on a team together with Whippo having such a strong presence in the top side was good, as we've got to pay attention to this early map state with the invade coming from PSG down bot.
Yeah, going for the late invade here with the sweeper. They're going to take over. They're going to force the split. And it looks like Whippo there going to head on down through the jungle. Both top laners are ganking from the top side, though.
Okay.
So we might have top laners meet up in the brush, the level 1s.
Whippo, is this an early gank mid?
Both.
Could be that as well, right? I wonder what he started. We'll find out shortly.
But it's Aurelion Soul. I don't...
Like,
I like the idea. I don't know if it's really going to materialize into anything.
Just didn't in the end as well. Whippo backing away. Inspired pinging up because he wants the vertical jungle straight away, immediately get this off the ground as Whippo starts the camp.
All right, so Aja, meanwhile, is actually heading towards the lane. to get some of the lane experience instead of helping out with jungle pushing.
Okay.
So this time around, it's going to be Aja who starts getting experience first as far as the top laners. This is definitely an adjustment by them as well.
Also, in terms of the turret push, this is a very fast 3-man stack that can push turrets as soon as Rumble overheats as well. As soon as he gets level 2, man, that turret is going to die.
I mean, that's a great point, Hysterics, just because you think about the reality of lane swaps is the bot towers are weaker and easier to kill than the top towers are.
True.
And traditionally, the approach to lane swaps is you either fast push to threaten the dive, or you slow push to set up stack waves to then threaten a potential dive, right? But there's no one on the top side, so PSG have just said, you know what, we'll send Arja bot, we'll secure as many plates as we can as quickly as possible, and we'll get an advantage that way. And you can already see Arja hitting that level 2, 2 tower plates already secured for the team, and already PSG off to a good early gold start.
Yep, extra 50% damage reduction on the top side turret as well, so going to be a lot slower going there for FlyQuest. And they're going for the recall of the bottom lane, though, and leaving Bwipo on the top side. Once again, they did this
Arja should just TP, I think.
And catch?
Yeah, I think he can just catch this whole wave. The important part is the timing,
Yep.
But now that the bot lane's gone, if he were to TP top, there's so much farm for him to catch. It would be absolutely massive for him. Instead, he's going to choose to stay.
Okay. Well,
all right.
Ginger's here as well.
Well,
3 plates already taken.
This is interesting because Masu and Busio are making their way bot, but you look at the positioning of the jungle. Inspired is mid lane right now.
Yeah, they're going to zone them. 2v3. Try and keep them off tower. Try and keep them off those minion waves because Inspired's so far behind.
Bwipo does have TP, but committing that to this tower would not be great.
Again, we're just waiting to see if Inspired comes in, as you said, a little bit behind the curve, as almost for the 4th plate here as PSG back off.
This has been so good for PSG.
Yep.
I mean, look at the bottom lane there, pretty happy on that one. They get the teleports right back up on the other side as well. Honestly, see about the next couple of minutes here, because this wave pushing out away from Aja.
I mean, Aja is probably the best low economy Rumble I've ever seen.
I agree.
It's just...
He did look a little dizzy. He's got a lot of practice with it,
Yeah,
I guess.
don't get me wrong.
He was a little dizzy, a little lost in some of the lane swaps, but this time around they got him right.
But
in
I guess
there.
it's one of the things why Rumble is such an effective support, right? He's a champion that works well on a low economy just because of the high raw base values that the champion can provide. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Maple doing what Aurelion Sol often does in this matchup, find some nice trades, be an effective bully. Jensen should be fine, they'll catch this wave, should be relatively even in the mid wave. Again, though, we find ourselves in a situation where I would argue that Arja should be behind in experience, but you look at the bars underneath the icons, and while Bwipo should be a little bit ahead, Arja's right behind it.
Good point. I mean, again, that wave crashing out now. Bwipo able to catch some of it, but the range from the Electro Harpoons are coming in handy. Meanwhile, the bottom side of Masu and Busio are finally getting the pushback in response, but let's not forget, almost 4 plates were taken by Betty Woody with Arja as an accompaniment, and for them to find something here feels like a must for FlyQuest in this early game to start evening out.
Yeah, that's the big advantage, and kind of the thing that's like baked into the game now, as far as the extra pushing power down there on the bottom side. First turret plate there, though, for the FlyQuest duo.
Credits to the bot lane of FlyQuest. They zoned Betty and Woody completely off that wave. Originally, they had about like a 9 CS lead, which has now disappeared. And they're able to get a plate off the back of it. So, comes back into question of like, maybe they just wanted to avoid those early levels from the Ashe Kalista, where it can be very terrifying. Now that they've secured level 4, they seem a lot more comfortable being able to play out this 2 versus 2.
Yeah, I wonder if this gank actually works.
Let's find out. Betty, no, the heal comes from Woody, actually, to get into range onto Busio. He's already used the clone. His flash not going to be burnt, though, as Jojo now spotted out. When becomes lightning, Betty and Woody zoned out, though, as Busio happy to take the damage with only the heal and response from Masu.
And Inspired immediately, seeing him down there for that gank, jumps right on the objective to clear it out. But it should just be a dragon trade as well in the end. But here we go. Jensen going to come down and check what he's doing.
Peekaboo, Junja there waiting. Emperor's Divide, he slides, he glides, and Jensen's just out with the ulti. But in front of Dragon, I mean, it should be an easy take for PSG.
Yeah. It's one of the both, I think, pros and cons of Inspired. He's a jungler that often likes to play for himself, and I genuinely think that with the way that they had stacked up bot, they could have threatened a dive.
Yep.
Whether or not it would have paid off is still debatable, but Inspired in a position, the moment that the bot lane survives the gank, immediately unlocks an objective for him. And smartly from Junja being able to find that cross map, but Inspired now immediately uses this pressure to move into the top side and steal away these camps, and this is what he as a player is very good at. playing against the enemy jungler, finding advantages where he can, and gaining that map control.
Here's my question. If Inspired was just going to go farm topside jungle and split map anyway, and they were going to give that dragon, why did Jensen go face check to put the ward into dragon and then use the Azir ult? I mean, it's not a huge deal, the Azir ultimate cooldown, but
maybe he wanted to ward the dragon, expecting it to be started, and they wanted a good timing on when it would start.
Also, gentlemen, because topside is going to turn into an equalizer. Archer flashes out of range, Inspired matches, but Whippo didn't get the stun down. Double flash for Archer to lead him on a goose chase. He now heartbreakers, but Maple's coming in. A star descends, and they're setting up first blood. FlyQuest over chase, and just like that, their chances are getting slimmer.
Over chase again. That was their big sin in the first game, Vedius. They repeat that sin again here. Whippo and Inspired. They want Aja too much.
They tunneled way too much on the kill, and they should have just been happy with the summoners. The moment that Whippo did not connect the stun, that should have been the signal with which, all right, we can't get this kill anymore. But they overcommit Maple with the collapse, and now the Aurelion Sol has 2 kills to his name.
It's heartbreaking for what was my excitement coming into the tournament for the top side of this team. We'll watch again, because I love that you guys said the overchase was here. It took so long to even catch up with Archer in the end.
So we look back at this dive. Nice use of the Rumble ultimate to slow them down.
Really
the
good.
Slow from the ultimate means that Whippo can't actually close the gap. And at this point, the flashes are traded. It's fine, you disengage, but then they overcommit, and I mean, this is just easy for Maple, right? The whole combo comes through.
Yeah. And what are the comps like right now? Aurelion Sol is a champion, you know, being able to move so quickly there.
Yeah, Aurelion versus 2 pieces of...
Oh, man. That is so good for PSG, though.
Yeah. I mean, for Maple to get a double kill on Aurelion Sol this early, Rylai's has just been picked up. He's got a bounty, 700 gold lead over Jensen. And we saw even last game in a lane matchup that we questioned as how will Maple get through? How will he deal with the range from the Hui that Jensen was on in game 1? In game number 2, we talked about Maple getting a free chance to scale against Jensen here. It's been such a big early game, and PSG trying to make it greater with Junja moving to the bot side. Masu is isolated by himself. The arrow connects. He's got no cleanse. He's knocked up, and for a second time, he's taken down. There we go. Betty picks up the kill, and a third one to PSG means this early game is a disaster for North America.
PSG are just smashing them now. Masu dying down here under turret means they have free reign of the entire bottom side of the map. It's so low, they'll be able to finish off that tower and then reset and rotate over to mid again.
Jungle 2v2 begins. Inspired looks for the chase. The singularity comes through. Great ulti from Junja. Denies Jensen from getting in range. Meanwhile, the bottom side picks up the turret. And bot is a wide open map right now as the chase ends there. But the back, number 1 and number 2, no! Masu doesn't get the ulti off in time. It's just all going PSG's way every time you look.
I mean, again, we have to go back to how this whole lane swap started. And I don't think that FlyQuest were ready for PSG's response. Committing the Rumble
you could tell the nerves
was so smart, and it set this bot lane up perfectly for success. A nice arrow connects onto Masu. He has no support from his team. There's nothing that he can do. He's literally chain CC'd, and it is an easy kill into easy tower. And now they swap their bot lane up towards top. There was the opportunity for them to move into mid, but they still want to keep Maple there for the time being. So instead, they'll transition their point of strength to where more tower plates are available for the taking, and it also sets them up nicely to contest the Grubs.
Easy as that, isn't it? I mean, PSG getting deep vision alongside it too. You see that Masu kind of rotates towards mid. He's going to be able to push that one out, but as you already said, Betty, the turret plates that go with it make it huge. It's a 2k gold lead here in this early game. And it feels like it's going to grow from there as well. More so looking, Maple has himself the Skies Descend from what I can see on the sidebar. So we'll get towards another fight. A bit of an upgrade here for PSG to play around with again.
I mean, PSG, it's just such a big difference here where they've made really good adjustments from the first series. Whereas it seems like FlyQuest is kind of living in the past and they keep doing these over-chase plays, trying to force like the same way that they won last time around.
Jensen's on a ward. Arrow's going to follow through. He's got nothing to dissuade it. Wind becomes lightning. Jensen's ulti saves him for now. A good slide out. Otherwise, he was dead meat and adding more gold to the pile.
Jensen even gets to keep his flash. Well played. Kind of the consistent stalwart here for FlyQuest as he remains strong. A scaling late game opportunity still stands with him. FlyQuest definitely not completely out of this game just yet. As a TP comes through, from Jensen to catch this top wave. Dragon going to be spawning. That investment of the TP means that it's harder to contest, but here comes FlyQuest. This dive's not going to be easy, though.
Equalizer makes it hard again, doesn't it, gents? Whippo at half HP and FlyQuest moves.
But look at the PSG squad. They're on their way down.
Exactly. Aja on this rumble. Once again, he ults the wave. He buys the time. They can't go for the dive. It's too threatening now, the roam for mid lane. And this might actually be it, though. I mean, Jensen has to walk all the way from top lane, so he's a little bit far.
Dominus use Astral Flight, he's going in. I mean, this Aurelion Soul wants to go in, but against Busio, no! PSG so overconfident. It's the sky's descent, but Whippo, as he gets taken out, it still looked okay. Inspired down over the back wall, though. And even though Fly got the opening kill, even though they punished, PSG are so damn strong, so early in the game. Masu's up next, great sidestep as Inspired looks to punish further. Jensen moves in, but he doesn't have an ult. Easy arrow connects again. No cleanse seems like a mistake as PSG still find the end of the fight.
Exactly, it's huge for PSG because
he kind of didn't take cleanse against Ash. I feel like not taking cleanse against Ash is just such a big sign of disrespect, and well,
they still went for the play.
That disrespect just leads to you just
but look at the response here from PSG.
You look at the start of this fight, and it seems like the perfect setup. Busio goes in, the Bwipo Renekton is right behind him, the resets are going to come through from Inspired, but this ultimate as well from Maple doing so much damage even though he loses his life. And crucially, you look at the situation 4 versus 2. Where is Jensen? Sitting in mid lane. It was so difficult for him to get involved in the fight because of how far away he was from it. And as you rightly said, Kobe, no TP means no involvement, and FlyQuest lose 3 and the Dragon as well.
My hopium was up. I saw that and I thought, wow, FlyQuest, what a setup, what a punish. But quickly shifting my mind.
Well, it's 2.5k diff, but
a double Dragon picked up PSG in this game.
There's
Number 2
just
continue to exemplify. Now with the bounty on
really big problem.
And they should be so proud. This is really big stuff for PSG. I mean, after last year where they didn't get through the play-ins, back-to-back tournaments, now to be on the precipice here, forcing North America to the edge and looking like they're going to make it through to the main stage. Very impressive stuff.
I mean, if they can if PSG and GAM can keep the momentum, they're gonna make for some really interesting games. But I hope they don't just make it to the main event and then choke and gone.
I'm surprised PSG.
That's what tends to happen with international teams.
Objective. You look at the vision control as well.
Well, NA teams
PSG have set themselves up nicely on that top side river. Now they move towards it after securing another wave. Maple going to push out top as well, and this should be all they need to secure the mid town.
Meanwhile, Equalizer on the bottom side to look for that trade, to look for stopping the trade as Jensen sits under. He keeps ordering it. I think he wants to die for it. Meanwhile, we look at Maple on the top side. A falling star will erupt, and it gets a stun on Bwipo and his fight with a TP as well. Bwipo just burning down. Woody finds the kill, and I don't think they're expecting that much damage that soon.
The TP adds insult to injury because this tower is going to go down anyway, but by TPing top, it helps secure that tower for RG.
Arrow. Oh, it almost connects. Either Busio or Masu were in trouble. Inspired's going to cover this while Junja moves across mid. Just to find the pick, they continue on. Busio's ulti is not without a risk. Maple picks up the kill. This is running away, gentlemen. The goal keeps getting bigger, and FlyQuest's options are so slim.
Yeah, that was a nice little pick from them, and they're not even done.
Help me, Jensen. He needs a hand, but a breath of light, a follow through. Singularity flushed away from at least he gets the Emperor's Divide, but under turret. Junja cares not. A Crescent Guard buys him some time as Bwipo and Inspired look for the reset. He goes for the Audacious Charge, but he gets no escape. Still, PSG look for it as the Fate's Call onto Masu. Is up next. They're trying to exemplify their experience in the 2v2 as Maple just flies away. Bwipo's there. Inspired ulties, but he's sitting in the Singularity. The poke that comes out of PSG's bottom lane is insane as Busio came over the wall. FlyQuest are crumbling. They get no moves, no response, but this is just how good PSG are. The experience is walking over them.
Oh, man. What must the comms be like, too? Because Busio jumps over the blast cone and then reveals himself there inside the pit, too, to give another one after just reviving. That whole time, by the way, on the minimap, you could see Aja was just up top side like, okay, I'm taking the tower up here. And yeah, you can see it on the minimap now. He starts up there by the outer, and Aja eventually ends up down by the secondary one, finishing that one too. But here was the original play.
I mean, really nice read from Junja to be able to find that pick on a Jensen. FlyQuest decide to commit onto Junja rather than trying to chase down Maple. And at this point, they're thinking maybe we can get a little bit more, but they realize that once Maple makes it over the wall, he can actually still win this 2 versus 3, and FlyQuest is forced to disengage. Busio says, hey guys, I'm here, I can turn this around.
No!
And it ends in disaster. Woody with the vision as well. He has the flash, chooses, actually no, I'm incorrect. I thought that he had it available, he didn't. Now he should have it up. But FlyQuest lane assignments have just been falling apart for them. PSG have been playing the map better.
Oh, it still hits every time, you're right.
The lack of cleanse, you called it earlier, hysterics. We're seeing the consequences now, the Herald as well. PSG are dominating in this second game.
There's a reason this team always makes a miracle run. I mean, 3rd in the regular season, but they make the playoff run work. They beat down Japan as well. And in such a convincing grand final, we thought, hey, PSG again, macro kings of their region. It looks like the development can't be understated as well. Zenitaro's going to follow through with pick after pick after pick. That now leads them to about an 8K gold lead, maybe less.
Yeah, I think it's really admirable. You know, looking at the last series and the little adjustments to make for themselves, they look so much stronger here in this one for the second time in a round. Should be Dragon Soul point for them.
Lucio's found out Woody and Ardra on the side. TP's going to be burned. I mean,
okay,
Soul point wants to be denied.
They're going to full send here. They're going to full send. They know it's going away from them.
Dominance from Whippo. The smite needs to come down. Junja's on it. He ults for it as well. Ardra zones out. The all-in on this Aurelion Soul's great. FlyQuest with a chance. Busio comes in and shows off. Inspired. Excuse me, Jensen's ult was also great, but there's not enough damage yet. Betty, Ardra, knock him down. Busio off the backline, no matter how good his engages have been. It's not enough, and Masu has to run into this composition with no support, with no front line. The guy is out in Narnia again, as this time it's PSG finding them off the back of Dragon.
A desperation teamfight from FlyQuest that looks good to start. Maple is the target that they're able to shut down, but you have to feel that the wallet difference is just too big. They don't quite have the itemization that they need. And now with 16 kills to 3, PSG put themselves at soul point.
How do you approach this? I mean, for FlyQuest,
feels bad for NA, man.
Looking like it could be done in 25 minutes, 30 minutes. A quicker departure than a lot expected as we break down this all-in onto Maple.
Yeah, you have to full send at this point because you're falling so far behind. So they go for the pincer movement, and they do.
If you wait any longer, you're just so far behind. It's just not even funny.
As they get the kill onto Maple, but again, the Dragon still getting off these ultimates when the meteor landing as well. Just so much damage here from the rest of PSGs. They all collapse. So while the target was acquired and they got their 1 kill, PSG in the aftermath wiped them off of Summoner's Rift.
You gotta remember that PSG's comp have so many damage threats. Even their support is just chipping away at you. You look at the damage on your screen, 2.5k from Woody in that fight. The idea from FlyQuest was good. I like the execution, but as I mentioned, I think that the goal difference is just too big at this point. They are reliant on PSG making a significant throw to be able to turn this game around. A Baron steal or something is what FlyQuest needs.
Yeah, honestly, just keep forcing on one side of the map. Send everybody at once and hope that you can make a...
But the problem is PSG. I mean, you see FlyQuest forcing on one side. PSG are here. It's a star falling onto Jensen. He's almost dead by himself. Junja goes into the backline and are making short work. Look at Ardra cutting off their realm of escape. That Dragon is unholy. We need the Dover Kid and FlyQuest to deal with Maple right now.
PSG cut through FlyQuest like a hot knife through butter. They just melt under the pressure. The bot side of the map is completely eviscerated. And now the Baron to boot. I was not expecting this performance from PSG. But after their defeat to FlyQuest, they have shown colossal improvement. And we're going to see them, adding seems to be the final nail in the coffin for FlyQuest.
Ash Arrow into Falling Star there from Maple, chunking him down low, and the rest of the squad already on the way to finish the job.
We go again. When have you seen an Aurelion Soul 1v1ing a Renekton? Whippo is breathed down. 7, 2, and 6 on this Aurelion Soul. He doesn't even need his 3rd item at this point. Is at 21 minutes, a Red Bull Baron power play is going to start picking up work.
So there are bounties on every member of PSG, though.
Attaboy, Kobe.
There's An ace would go a long way.
Yeah,
I agree
exactly.
with you.
Go identify one of those bounties. Let's start small. One step at a time. One bounty at a time.
I like it. Again, look, it's not the first time you and I have seen FlyQuest demise in front of our faces. I think the biggest thing is we saw the adaptation on day number 1. We saw some pretty good moments here from this team, but the second seed of LCS is close to being eliminated, and PSG are now rampaging the base in order to secure themselves into the main stage. Remember, this is not just the hope of the PCS. OCE, LJL attach themselves to this region now. They represent a mass, a group. PSG are doing them proud right now with a potential 2-0 on the timeline. Inspired's trying to defend this, but look at the Baron minions do work. Look at the poke that's coming from Arja in the lane swap. The all-in. Falling Star doesn't need to connect because Junja, Crescent guards, zones them away. The pick comes through, double inhibitor down. Now is it going to be the end is the question.
PSG have the Nexus in their eyes. They have a spot in the group stage of MSI, and they're not going to hold back.
Revenge is looking good, isn't it? Not only for day 1, but for last year. FlyQuest sitting near their fountain, the poke coming through. Baron minions number 2 on the way. The cannon has range, and PSG is zoning FlyQuest from getting anywhere near the circle right now. At least their defense eventually holds on, but at 15k gold disadvantage and Ocean Soul, we know what's coming up next, especially with that Baron power play moving to 4k.
It's basically like an open
Nexus. Woody is
Nexus.
low. The bad news is that they have to walk into a cosmic dragon in order to even have an opportunity to contest.
Yeah, once that void staff is done, man, those merc traps are going to be basically just a butter knife.
They cannot see anything. The face check is terrifying. Here comes the TP. FlyQuest are not going to go down without a fight.
Hail Mary, root down onto RG, flashes away. That's a win. Dominance already popped by Bufos. He runs on in too. For this Dragon, remember, objective bounty if they can do anything about it, but there's also a super minion at the base, knocking away and making minions work. PSG look for the engage, otherwise knowing that FlyQuest have to base away. The arrowheads too, and Busio's ulti might be okay, but it doesn't find a target in the end. Woody flashes forward, gets Fate's call to be saved away. It's insult to injury. It's equalizer to Masu. It's FlyQuest on their last legs at MSI for this year.
PSG don't even need the Dragon. They're going to run down FlyQuest. Inspired, trying to get something back.
He does get something. There's a shutdown there, but Betty, remember this Callista does one-shot work. Mabel still finds a burn on Masu eventually, and Betty with a rend out is going to find Inspired, but there's a trade. It slows the game down for whatever that's worth.
Inspired gets a couple of heroic kills at the end, but it's still going to be PSG moving back to the Dragon Soul, picking up that extra big Ocean Dragon Soul buff. Let's see, Busio and Whippo kind of messing around. Two Renekton's in the jungle. Vedius not going to have any chance of stealing that one. Let's take another look at it.
Whippo just gets melted. He's trying to act as the front line, but you see how quickly he gets torn apart by Junja of all people. The Ash Arrow connects in this choke point. FlyQuest just get run down by Maple and Junja, and they're just forced to retreat. I respect the ideas here from FlyQuest. They know when they have to fight. And from Inspired, finding this pick, converting it into a kill onto Betty as well. Great position to be in.
Oh no! I thought the burn was just that hard.
I thought it would be the burn, but the super minion helping PSG out. The goal difference is 12.5k. FlyQuest really need a miracle to turn this game around.
And those two players on your screen there, Betty and Maple. They have made deep runs at MSI before when they were on Flash.
The fact that Woody is a 4K as a support is
to get to the main stage.
insane.
Is that 285 Stardust stacks for Maple?
Yes, Kobe, yes it is.
Who's level 15 and a half. Definitely feeling confident here. All the power of the Cosmos.
And let's remember the reason why PSG are looking like an improved team. Junja's come in. This guy has been around experience for a lot of his competitive career. Now getting a chance to shoulder as TP comes through. The last inhibitor turret on the line. The arrow flies through. It's a good dodge from Busio. But it's still an unnerving situation. The last inhibitor looks to drop even without the Baron buff. Inspired looks for an angle while PSG hold on to that Sky's Descend that could end the world.
FlyQuest haven't given up just yet. They've sent Whippo to catch
Well, FlyQuest hasn't given up, but I think the NA fans have.
It's Ocean Soul! It's Ocean Soul! It's Ocean Soul! RG just stands and just churns damage at him. Inspired thought he could take him, thought it was something, but at this point I'm not sure what the thought was. FlyQuest now again, the base
Alright, double super minions.
Quickly, swiftly takes them out. 3 members left standing, but the Spring Kings, the PCS that never misses out on MSI thanks to PSG, as the skies descend, will knock away FlyQuest, will move to the main stage, get revenge for last year's Golden Guardians,
that's
and
crazy.
do their right here at MSI 2024.
That wasn't even close. That was a 2-0
sweep.
sweep.
Back from PSG.
Alright, yo, let's see if Fnatic can hold the fort down against GAM, or if the momentum that GAM gained yesterday will be good enough. Let's find out.
Thank you very much to the desk. I'm dancing away as we get through because we're ready to pick and ban.
Hoping for a Pogger series.
Again. This champ's like powered by Omen and HyperX as we go through now.
Disappointed with the last series, I'll be honest. 100%.
Or Noah setting up alongside. I'm joined by Kobe and Vedius are going to run me through the rest.
I'm honestly surprised that Fnatic have moved away from Varus. During the regular season, this was something that they heavily prioritized, but they want some of the more skirmishing power that the Kalista provides. Now, with the Varus already locked in, Nautilus becomes an incredibly important pick. Do you prioritize it as Fnatic to make sure that you have that strong engage, frontline, and great pairing alongside the Kalista to also deny it away from the opposition, or do you instead let it through with the expectation that you have good answers to it, knowing that Jun is probably the best Renata that we have in Europe right now?
I was going to bring up the Renata and be like, this guy was insane.
Yeah, I think you got to pick the Renata.
So we'll see which direction they actually go in, but we split those two mid laners with the Taliyah, and it looks like Humanoid answer up on Orianna. Definitely always looking at, of course, the AD jungler here to pair with it, trying to get some,
I thought they were just giving up the Renata pick. My bad, guys.
Surely we just
forgot GAM was red side.
I mean, it's not been banned away. The Renata game was insane.
Please.
It's what helped them win against top esports. It what gave them such great setup. We have to find out, is Kobe heading in the right direction, or is it going to be towards the support? Instead, the Ashe comes through, so still a playmaking tool for Jun, especially at that level 6.
So now GAM, an important decision needs to be made here. Do you just respond with your support? And it's a tough one. What do you even pick into the Ashe? Do you go with the expectation of planning for a lane swap? Do you even want to try and lane swap against Fnatic? Or do you instead try and pick a support that can try and match in the 2 versus 2?
Already even... Yeah, exactly. Already even go... Whoa! No, they slammed the Urgot as well.
Okay.
I mean, I know Kiaya used to be known as a bit of an Urgot player.
I mean, yeah, in the game against Loud as well.
Are they assuming that Oscarina is just going to be on Cassante duty, as he was through regular season?
I hope we get another Camille, boys. I love watching his really Camille against 369. I feel like Oscar, expectations coming into this tournament were extremely low, but he is performing much better than I anticipated.
The Urgot is
Let's
spicy.
see what the plan is, because you imagine how Fnatic will start banning away supports. I think Rakan could be a solid ban alongside the Nautilus, that they just want to limit GAM's engage tools, because remember that if you are GAM, you could choose to just concede the lane with the expectation of playing more towards the comp, because the problem with this Urgot is while it can be an effective bruiser, strong side laner, not the best engage, relatively short range, can be difficult, so you need to a champion that can help you get involved in the fights.
And the only kind of like protection bans for it have been people banning some of those range matchups like the Twisted Fate if they did have standard lanes with it as well. And then we get the Nocturne ban out here. The classic combination with Orianna can be a very scary combination with either the Orianna and the Ashe Arrows coming through as well. So
right now,
fight ban away.
I was actually going to say, because one of the things that you get frustrated with playing into a Taliyah is like Xin and Jarvan, 2 champions that Razork would love to play, become a little bit harder to play when the Taliyah is up. So I was thinking maybe they could go for the Wukong, but then they choose to ban it. Levi is going to get his hands on his tried and true Lee Sin, setting themselves up for a very powerful mid-jungle duo. But here comes the Xin that we were just talking about.
Both junglers have just been picking up their tried, true, and tested. I mean, Razork, Xin Zhao against top esports, even in game 1, was exceptional.
All right, the interesting part is going to be the reveal on the top lane, though, here for Oscar. I feel like the coaching staff should have a lot more faith in him.
Please just don't be Zac.
Exactly. After the Camille performance, everyone's like, why the Zac? But they do need frontline, you know. You're looking at this lineup, you're like, he's probably going to be just frontline tank.
I'd look at it as well. I mean, Cassante's there.
I mean, to be fair, during this year, this was the champion that everyone said he can only play, Cassante. So he's definitely on a comfort pick for him. We know that he can have impact on it. Fnatic's composition, I would say like surprisingly single target outside of the Orianna. They do have a lot of disruption in their composition. Incredible skirmishing with Orianna to kind of tide them over later with solid pick options to try and attack some of these side lanes. GAM have crazy team fighting, like rounding out with a Maokai.
They have such nice engage.
They have in this composition. While their engage isn't,
I have no humanoid arm. Careful, bro. There.
Fnatic on an objective first, and then you can use the Maokai ultimate to approach them, and then you have the Varus ultimate to find picks and stuff. They have a lot of playmaking in their toolkit with a lot of crowd control. So I'm a big fan of the team fighting options that GAM will have later into the game.
I feel like GAM should be looking for a lane swap early levels at least. You know, if you're facing the Kalista Ashe double Hail of Blades bottom lane, especially the first few levels, at least lane swap that. And you do have the Urgot, which is pretty good at slipping in and getting the experience. So,
but you've got to be really smart about how you do it, because Fnatic had the luxury of getting to play against one of the early adopters in the lane swap in G2, and throughout the finals it was something they played against a bunch of times, and Fnatic love diving. They absolutely love to dive you on the level 1, the level 2, the level 3, so it's something that GAM is going to have to respect and play around. If they don't position properly, Fnatic is poised to punish you.
I mean, even if we're talking about aggression that comes through from Fnatic, we talked about it in the top esports series, how much fun it was to actually cast that game because of how explosive it could be. But for GAM, as they rounded out with the reverse sweep against Loud, the series that a lot of people said Loud should have won, it came off the back of things like Levi's Lee Sin, their ability to invade and push tempo themselves. This team has similarities. This team plays in business of not being in the enemy jungle, but being in the heads of their enemy as well. GAM beating Loud was only the start. Now we have to find out if they can do the unthinkable, beat Fnatic, and take down the West here. It's already been done earlier with PSG. Now how EU are going to fare against GAM running into this series.
Yeah, GAM already, like you mentioned, in beating Loud. Really impressive stuff from them considering what went on in the BCS this year and overcoming that hurdle already to get here. Now, you know, they're just going to full send it. They'll look for some aggressive stuff. They come out with a pretty interesting opening here with the double wards up on top side to try and scout out if there is anything questionable.
I mean, Fnatic would definitely love standard lanes. And even if GAM choose to swap away, I can tell you right now, Fnatic's going to take a page of the PSG book and push as fast as possible to funnel those plates into their bot lane. But we're going to see the swap come through. GAM have 4 members on the top side of the map. Oscar, let's see how he responds.
The big thing to look at here is if you're going to force this as GAM, you need to make sure that Xin doesn't steal away your camps. Razork is trying to start on Wolves right now. If Razork could steal away those Wolves, then at least you get a little bit of extra off of like the side of the map that you're not supposed to get technically as Fnatic. And so Oscar's heading right over to him to try and help him burst down those Wolves. Maybe get the small ones?
But Elio's coming in as well. Level 1 Maokai. I mean, all he can do is Q and maybe get this Ignite down. It's Smite that gets to level 2, but for Razork, no further engage. When becomes Lightning, sends them off. Blue buff resets a bit, which gives them a bit of timing, but as it's re-aggroed, GAM is still right where they want to be. And
Fnatic did accomplish that like mini goal I'm talking about, where they steal away 1 camp from the offside, so they'll be pretty happy with that.
Interesting. So Fnatic actually choosing to go for the slow push, trying to mitigate the amount of minions as possible, also building up this massive stack so they can stay on the tower for longer. Kiaya gonna hover around the top side. Let's see if GAM can push this tower as quickly as possible, because that's looking to be their game plan. They have 2 waves together right now. Let's see how many plates they can secure.
Plus they have Demolish as well here for Elio. Just as a side note, just have to see if Kiaya has it, while this Urgot will start burning down turrets quick too.
Remember, there are 2 defenses up there at work. One is the 50% damage reduction for the first 5 minutes. The other, of course, is the extra 45 armor for every champion that is within 850 range when the turret plate dies. 850 range is actually not that much range. I was wondering if we would...
how slowly it died.
I was wondering if we would see like small optimizations where people would then, as a plate is about to die, like back off out, you know, to like 900 range and try and not get that extra armor on it, but grouping up there, and yeah, you can start to see the pushing difference.
So squishy.
Describing it perfectly, and we're getting to see it on our screen. Even though 3 people on the top side, all those extra resistances, making it that much slower in terms of the siege. 2 plates will be secured, shared across 3 people. The 2 plates secured on the bot side, shared across 2 people. Yep. The biggest difference is that Kiaya is getting experienced.
Yep.
Very close to level 2. We talked a lot about it already today in the FlyQuest PSG series, where the advantage of being in lane is just, even if you're not taking all of this farm, you are getting that XP. And that means that Kiaya can just lane and be in a better position moving forward.
And Kiaya with his extra demolish up there too. The extra demolish really making a big difference. Urgot is also like a notorious good tower pusher, especially later on to the game too. So they've actually done quite a good job here with this force from GAM. This is kind of what we were expecting from them as far as the comp coming out for the first few levels. And now is the part where they're trying to get a little bit of extra information on the retake here. You see Levi comes over, drops the ward, and they will find that Fnatic have and cleans it out.
Okay, so 2 plates left remaining. TP going to be used, and Elio was sitting on a ward, so they know that they were hovering as Kiaya hovers himself and picks up this wave. We just have to see what the reset looks like from Fnatic, and surely enough, they match with the 3rd plate taken by Easy Love as well.
Nicely done overall from GAM. They provide that extra bit of security for Kiaya. Conscious of the fact that a dive could be a possibility for Fnatic, but Elio is right there to support him, which means that they're able to escort him into lane. He's able to get a bit more farm and experience. He's going to choose the base now, and I'm keeping my eyes on the lane assignments once again. We see Levi making his way towards top.
Yeah, because they already see Oscar on the wave. So GAM have accomplished all of their goals so far with this lane swap. Quite smooth stuff from them. Despite, Razork, of course, stealing away at least 1 small extra little camp, but Oscar on the push out on top side will be met by Kiaya. So they saw him and went for that recall you're talking about.
But let me just quickly talk about Razork, because there is a CS differential in jungle that's built up. Maybe that denial has a big part to do with it, as Kobe, you were talking about earlier. But as he clears his top side, I mean, Razork will be hitting level 6, it feels like, about half a level earlier, as he's now 5 and close to getting that with his reset.
Well, the advantage for Razork is not only was he able to get his wolves, but he then had the map split, secures all the camps on the bot side of GAM's jungle and his own jungle, and on the reclear gets access to both his wolves and his
Alright, back to standard lanes.
So ultimately,
now we can look forward to maybe a more exciting game. It's lane swaps, there's no interaction for X minutes,
and almost a full level
besides like the first jungle camp.
Because of the respawn timers, because he started over on this side and he knows Levi started the respawn timers on his blue quadrant, then he gets right over there, and that allows him the timer here to come back towards bottom side.
Now he has his eyes on both protecting his bot side of the map, but also starting off this dragon. Once we get the minimap back on our screen, you'll notice the pressure that Humanoid has in mid. Orianna can be a very effective lane bully, and even though in the early levels Humanoid was taking the short end of the trades, you can see now he has a lot more control over the wave matchup. Along with the pressure that they have in bot, easily secures Razork this dragon.
And then because of those respawn timers that we're talking about with the path, where they got the really early ones on the Wolves and the Gromp, then Razork, after finishing Dragon, can go right down for another clear again. And it looks like should be Levi and GAM answering the grubbies.
Yep. So now the question for me comes from, what does Razork choose to do now? He's getting a bit of information in the enemy jungle, but my instinct says he's going to look to dive, and that's exactly what he's going to go for. We talked about it earlier, Fnatic love to dive, and they're setting it for the play right now.
And look at the poke with the Ashe and the Kalista as well. You see how easy it is for Jun, even though taking a turret shot. As Humanoid looks to be walking down, he has the shockwave too, and the poke comes through. The heal forced out in the return, but Jun's caught out, but never mind. Razork gets the trade, but under turret, he's gone so deep, he's gonna die. It's just about where the trade can be found. Noah's out of turret range. A double goes over to Elio. That might be worth it for Fnatic, considering Noah gets to push the wave in.
Yeah, they still get all the kills down there, but it was a good job, like in a tough situation there for the GAM bottom lane, where immediately flashes on Noah and gets the Q bump back under tower. In the end, they still pull it off.
I mean, I was impressed with how GAM were able to turn that dive around, because with the HP bars, it was looking like a clean sweep for Fnatic, but they're able to get that
Maokai getting early boots makes it really hard to make a repeat play like that, because
all the kills didn't go over to Noah, but as you rightly said, a lot of farm lost there for Easy Love means that he's going to lose out on getting a little bit of a delay level 6.
And this is the key right here. Elio immediately goes for it. He sees them.
Really nice play.
Gets the aggro on him. Jun has it. Then they get the flash, and they have to force flash too, so Razork used his flash to follow him and make sure that they could get the kill onto Varus. So then they get the 2 here. Nicely done, yeah. Both of the kills and the kill credit, of course, does go over to the support Maokai, but tough spot.
Overall, I would say it's still a play in favor of Fnatic.
Yep.
I'll still be happy with how things panned out, but you could definitely argue that dive could have gone better. if you are a Fnatic fan.
And I mean, look, at least Levi will be happy. Oh, Razork, you know, lost a bit of time. That CS lead disappears, but he got a kill. But plus that bottom lane starts integrating into the game quite nicely for Fnatic, considering the wave shoves into Noah. Razork's back down here on a ward, and there's still pressure on this 2v2 of EasyLove and Elio. And considering how they play out their lane, is still a bit risky.
I want to use this brief opportunity as well to highlight Humanoid. Look at the mid gap, 20 CS the difference now. He's been having a phenomenal tournament so far, and he's looking to continue that performance today, using his pressure to work with his team once again
I cannot
to
wait
steal away
to
the blue
see.
buff and look for another play.
Peekaboo, wow, Elio, what a buffer of the arrow. Really nice timing the twisted advance, but he's still not out of dodge. Wind becomes lightning as the damage, a sidestep from Razork, beautiful from the Sonic Wave too.
They're
and
diving
Humanoid
again.
Gets his just due for EasyLove. Now how easy he's gonna get, not at all. Humanoid flashes away in the meantime though, and Sonic Wave connects, but they re-engage onto Levi. The King Flash looked good, but Noah got a double. It's still Fnatic's bot all the time in this game.
Oh, Fnatic, bot lane focus. The camp is paying off so incredibly well. Razork here, not even done. He doesn't have smite, so it's a fair fight there with Emo, and Emo does end up getting it, but still, Fnatic completely wiped them out. They take the entire tower plus all the extra
Now that
kills
play
here.
was worth it
Noah
for Fnatic.
on this Kalista is going to be so incredibly powerful.
What a great dive and what a great play overall from Fnatic. We look back at the play. Nice use of the twisted advance from Elio to dodge away from the arrow. Humanoid holding onto the shockwave, doesn't want to commit it here this early onto just the support, but EasyLove is left very isolated. Fnatic turn their attention, but also leaves Humanoid isolated. Emo with a really good knockback. The shockwave finally comes out from Humanoid, but the Q connects from Levi, but that ended up being his undoing. As while it is a nice kick, it doesn't really convert into much as Fnatic find themselves 3 kills.
Yeah, actually, Fnatic really happy to see that one, because now
Another play on top side. Look at Noah's damage. He just pops on up with hail of blades. He kites away. How easy was that? I mean, Noah was a bit invisible in the last series versus Top Esports, but today he's showing up nice and early.
Yeah, it's like the whole team lifting him up here this time around. Lethality, Kalista to boot. Noah is just the king in the entire game right now. And Noah, Jun, excuse me, snipes him with the arrow to set it up, so it's just on a platter, served up. Now they're going to get teleported on behind them, though.
Noah doesn't have summoners apart from the cleanse available. That's a double TP, in fact, as the Nature's Grass doesn't do work.
They want to fight this.
Jun is here. Gam have committed 4 members to the top side, but Humanoid's here, Razork's here as well. But Gam Esports, this could backfire massively. Osprey zones out Emo, while now the fear beyond death for Kiai starts it off, but it gets no fear for anyone in Fnatic. The kick away disengages. Well, at least Kiai gets a kill, but it could have been a lot worse considering Fnatic now move to the grubs.
I really was expecting Noah to ulti Jun back to safety, but they couldn't quite get in range to do it. Ends up being a trade 1-for-1 overall, but I think Fnatic trading mid laner for support should overall be happier with that exchange.
Yeah, they're going to clean up the grubs in the aftermath as well. The gold lead speaks for itself. Levi poking around out there. Actually, Kiai goes for it too. Look at the mini-map.
Arrow comes through. Remember, Shockwave wasn't used in that exchange. Look for it, look for it, look for it. Here it comes. Onto Elio. There's damage there with the Ashes. Well, distance forces the flash. Well, meanwhile, after the grubs were taken, we look towards the top side. For Gam, their top lane is caught out. This time, Kiai will be able to flash away, but it's matched nicely. Fnatic are running this early game, and Gam are running out of options fast.
Fnatic is a skirmish-heavy team. They love to brawl you, and they love to fight you in these 2v2s, 3v3s. And the worst thing you can do is try to meet them in the mud, because they love to play in the mud.
They love the mud.
And right now, Gam is just kind of going for these fights, going for these skirmishes, and Fnatic is outplaying them at every turn.
Vedi, you called it at the very beginning of the match, but Fnatic diving on bottom side after the swap back opened up the entire game. And they're leveraging that here for a very strong mid game. Gam are going to be able to pick up like the consolation prize, the dragon on the bottom side of the map. But Fnatic very happy with that topside victory.
But I mean, you consider after the topside victory, the double TP, the huge commitment from Gam. You then see what happens, and as we explained, big win for Fnatic here, considering the gold lead down bot is 3K in Noah's favor. Humanoid, Vedius already talked about the laning phase, 20 CS lead, but he's also 1,000 gold up. And Razork is once again in a CS lead with gold on top of that. Razork doing very good in this early game jungler, as we know from watching the LEC how good he can be when he runs the map.
Oh, I mean, Razork, I think, is the lifeblood of this team. When he's having a good game is when Fnatic look like they're in their best form. And that's the beauty, right? You praise the individual players, but if I'm sure if you go back into the VOD review, a lot of it's just going to be off the back of Razork's smart pathing, the way that he sets them up in the early game. He's just such an incredible jungler, and he's been the best performing jungler of the LEC throughout the entire year.
I think the Humanoid LeBlanc games were because of him as well. I mean, I think the Oscarin and Camille game was set up from him as well.
He really is an incredible jungler, and he's playing on form this year. But again, we'll see if they can close it out, because I'll tell you right now, Fnatic love to fight, and that is both a blessing and a curse, and it makes their games very interesting to watch.
Find out. Chains of Corruption out of range. Nice sidestep from Noah. Tries to get the poke, but the arrow in the quiver hits from Easy Love in the end. It's because they're fighting, because Herald's coming up in 10 seconds up in this top side.
All right, yeah, let's see if GAM are ever going to be able to take that large bounty off Noah's head. The arrow hits again!
Beautiful, and the damage from Razork hurts like hell. The kick away, but it's only in the jungle. Flash Crescent Guard win becomes lightning, almost getting a kill. Fnatic did commit a flash for that, but they make sure that Levi ain't going to be near this Herald for the next play.
Really nice play there from Levi. I will admit, greedy trying to go for the red buff. But you know what? He says, you have to force your flash for mine, so I'll take that trade for now. The Herald is, of course, going to fall, but Levi gets away with his life and the red buff.
Yeah, the alarm went off, and Fnatic were like, wait a second! You're not allowed to be there! Ash Arrow comes out, barely escapes, though, so nice little heist. Get a little something back for themselves. In the end, though, of course, because of the health chunk out, Razork is able to finish off the bigger objective there in Rift Herald. Now, opposite side of the map, let's take a look. Humanoid is a little bit dicey to stay down there, but Jun has his back. Jun is heading from lane.
Dive, Shockwave going to be used, though. It's only a one-man. Humanoid not going to get much value as Emo takes it up for the time being and transition well. Jun's now here by himself, isolated, tries to kite through the minion wave as Noah uses the Q to get in range. The Weaver's Wall gets him as well with the Fate's Call and the turn. Noah setting him up. Jun goes and spawns halfway through a wall, but the arrow to follow through almost connects as Noah is feeling himself. Emo on the other side, but Jun is ready to catch him. The bot lane of Fnatic are alive and well.
Oh, they certainly are. Let's see about Razork, though.
How did he get here? Razork also feeling himself in a very Fnatic way.
Well, they got a couple more kills on the other side of the map, and that's the Fnatic I love. That's the Fnatic I want to watch. If they're not diving between two turrets, then I don't want to see it.
I mean, that is Fnatic through and through. I mean, great initial dive from GAM. I love the fact that they're punishing Humanoid on the side lane, knowing that he's on the weak side.
Yep.
I think in that situation, he's believing that he can outplay the situation, but they punish him effectively. The problem is the response from Fnatic. Noah and Jun on the collapse in the 2 versus 3 are able to make the outplay happen. But let's look back and see what happens, Tom.
Yeah, all right, so here's the first part of the dive where
that's what happened. Okay. So Oscar says, I'm out. And Razork's like, okay, this is going to look really bad, but guys, it's not my fault.
It started out as a, we are going to dive them, and then it finished as a, you are going to dive them.
Yep.
But
credit to Razork.
my favorite part, though, was the bottom lane play where Noah comes in like, never mind, we're going to get back to the action.
Arrow can hit Levi, though, and speaking of action, we're right back in it, aren't we? For Levi, no kick available. We'll rather flash to set it up. Razork re-engages, audacious charge kick, disengage, and Noah poke. Hurts like hell. That's a 7-kill Kalista, by the way. And that might just open up to the top side here, and Kiaya having to be careful with all of Fnatic coming up.
Noah's kind of surfing around the map like Superman here. And there you can see a very rich Superman as well.
That's his cape.
Yeah.
Fluttering out behind him.
And, I mean, Levi's doing the appropriate thing right now, cross-mapping, trying to get whatever camps he can, knowing that there's still opportunities to find plays. Noah, no flash, Dragon spawning in 15 seconds. A great opportunity for GAM, especially if Levi can find a nice flank. If they can take Noah out, that's a lot of the gold gone. And admittedly, Humanoid, while he's in a better position than Emo is right now, that doesn't mean that things can't change just like that. We saw GAM make an incredible turnaround against Loud yesterday. This is why Fnatic have to be cautious, and sometimes they will fall to their own hubris, and they need to keep it controlled and clean to win a game out against GAM.
I like that. Calm us down, Vedius. Focus us back up, because there are some things in favor of GAM. I would say one thing is the top lane 1v1.
Yep.
Kiaya is a full level as we get another little bit of damage.
Arrow has to come out. Jun was a bit far forward. Emo still has kill threat here, but decides not to overtake, and Dragon's still going to be taken all the same. Well, as you mentioned, that top side looking good for GAM, especially with this push into the inner turret with Levi covering as well.
Yeah, Kiaya with his Black Cleaver, with his level advantage there over Oscar is kind of the one point that they have to leverage.
I mean, let's also think about Levi in the last, what, 2 minutes, took Raptors, he took red, moved to top side, took blue, took Gromp. So he was taking all sorts of camps, and he's actually immediately closed that jungle level discrepancy. They also unlocked the top tower. So credit to GAM, even though they find themselves in this deficit, they're playing around the map well, and they're trying to mitigate Fnatic's pick potential, which is something that we continue to see Fnatic do on these side lanes.
Yeah, generally, they just want to try and force things that are going to be away from Noah, away from this super rich Kalista. Because if they can do that, then you can, you know, fight away from the giant gold lead and fight your way right back into it.
You get that from Levi, don't you? Not only just a pick, but the guy who's been in GAM all of his esports life, apart from that 2018-2019 period. The biggest part about GAM right now, though, is no objectives to play for apart from that Baron topside, but they don't care. They're setting up for bot. The Weaver's Wall comes through, and Razork on the wrong side of it, or rather the right one. Sonic Wave again follows through, and Humanoid just there to cover as that ultimate committed. All the Baron spawns as potential.
Siege onto mid, going to be challenging. They don't have much of a wave to play with. Noah going to show that respect. Look, once again at the side lanes, Oscar catching top. Looks like he's not interested in fast pushing that. He knows there's no real objectives on the map for him to play for, so Kiaya, he can just let him kind of wander around the map. He's not too concerned about that. Same in the bot side. That's going to get cleared out. Humanoid with a quick reset. Arm guard now secured for him. Means that Orianna is going to be a lot safer, as the flash is going to be coming off cooldown now. Speaking of summoners, pretty much available across the board for everyone. So, going to be an interesting fight if we do get one in the next few minutes, as with Baron spawning soon.
Come on, you know Fnatic, bro, there's a fight.
The big challenge for Fnatic, honestly, is sieging. Look at the wave clear on GAM's roster, and it's Varus plus Talia, Maokai ultimate to zone you away if they're really scared about a potential siege as well. So Fnatic, they're going to be forced to move into the enemy jungle, kind of force GAM out of these spaces, and then leverage numbers by collapsing on side to unlock the map more. Yeah, I think the benefit here for Fnatic is that they've got good push on the side wave there. So that big wave you're talking about, Oscar, building up, they can push out that side one. Humanoid on bottom side, pretty safe with being able to get his bottom one push too. So after this reset, now one more purchase for Noah, they can go back to mid, and if you just finish off the like 50% health that's left on that mid tower, then you open up the map for these Ash Arrow picks, and they can try and get some kills before going towards the deeper tower.
Yeah,
I'd love to actually see Fnatic, not necessarily
3+ item Noah, so that's really
using
good.
Baron more as a tool to turn and force fights. If you don't believe that you're effective at sieging onto these towers, instead leverage the neutrals to force them into you, and then you can actually find the fights that you're looking for. Or at the very least, pull them out onto the map and then hit them with the Ash Arrow.
I think the pick potential from Jun is what we're focusing on here, and couldn't agree more. As Jun continues clearing out vision, maybe that's the angle being set up now. There's a cheeky ward behind them though. Fnatic haven't been able to clear too much, and Jun missing a lot of wards here that are giving GAM time and relaxation towards this pit.
And if we look at it from the perspective here for GAM, their #1 priority is to keep this mid tower alive. If they have the defense of this mid tower, that allows them a lot easier time of keeping some vision around Baron, make sure Fnatic aren't able to sneak that one. So they're trying to keep this point of defense up and hope for a nice opportunity to burst out.
Orianna's got a nice lead, which is nice.
Humanoid can't really push past the river. You see him in bot lane, he only ever clears out that wave, and then he immediately goes back to base because he knows he's on the weak side. I think Fnatic could consider actually swapping things around to get Humanoid more involved with the rest of the team. Now the Zhonya's is completed, look at him, making a beeline towards the mid lane. Oscar's been brought down to Fnatic, recognize the spikes that are being hit, and now they feel strong enough to try and force these fights with Dragon on the table in 45 seconds.
That critical objective, the mid lane tower acquired here for Fnatic. Now you get to put in your shallow wards here through the jungle on both sides, and Gamma are going to have a much more difficult time coming to contest these objectives.
Humanoid clears out the wave, or rather clears out the ward. Wave will be next. Pings are coming down though. Should ignore the Dragon for the time being because it looks like Gamma trying to threaten, get some vision themselves in the meantime.
I don't think Gamma can sing Baron already.
As Gamma split up,
I feel like they have
potential angles,
Baron
especially
damage.
with Kiaya getting that push up in the top side.
Oh,
He's going to hold on to Edge of Night for the time being.
We can see what Gam saw. We saw what Gam saw in that moment.
Something like
you
that.
can see that there was very little vision across the map. They have a bit of information around the river, but ultimately, even though they are slowing the game down, they are very limited in terms of their options. They're just trying to stall and wait for that Fnatic overextension or mistake, for the time being, Fnatic are not presenting Gam with.
Yeah, Gam don't want to, you know, risk everything on one of these like mini objectives. It's got to be one of those big game-breaking ones.
All right, well,
if
so
Fnatic
what?
Really
So,
Baron, or if Fnatic really commit to the Dragon
to
Soul
be fair,
then they'll throw it
Ocean
all.
Souls and Zhao will be able to just start taking random dive fights.
Coming up in 5 minutes time, ladies and gentlemen at home. We've been sitting slow for a while. We had an explosive early game. We had set up for dives. We have Fnatic taking over. I think this kind of shows you the experience of people in GAM, but also the setup they've been able to achieve even from such a deficit.
They don't want to fly quest. They don't want to match that fly quest energy. They're just running it down.
He's speaking volumes to a team that, again, came back from what felt like an easy series from Loud. People like Levi setting it up well. Vedius already talked about the invade and the resources he's been taken away. He's still doing that with deep control wards, spotting out Razork and hitting the other side of the map.
So now, we talked about Baron earlier. This is where it becomes...
The level 11 Ash is going to be a really nice power spike because it does lower the cooldown by quite a bit.
Safeguard going to be used. The poke from Noah, disgusting by the way. Almost 4 items on this Kalista as they try and spot out. No Dragon down here, but the pick again that could lead up towards that topside Baron. Is what Fnatic keep fishing for with such a low cooldown on the Ash Arrow.
Yeah, they were really hoping there to get Levi's flash. Fnatic, if you could get that jungle flash away before the Dragon Soul fight, that would be the big victory there in that attempted pick. They don't quite get it go. Good job by Levi, remaining calm, saving his summoner spell.
Fnatic have shifted their priorities to this bot tier 2. Notice how they use their mid-control into finding that pick in the river. Levi does get away with his life, but he's being forced back, and now Humanoid has the safety to push this wave all the way underneath the tier 2 tower. Kiaya now going to answer that as Razork makes his way back towards mid. More gold wants to be spent though, Fnatic. I'm surprised at this point in time. I feel like you should feel incredibly strong.
Yeah.
And there's a Youmuu's now picked up for Noah. This should be the go signal. I feel like that they should really start leveraging this Baron now to try and force GAM into a fight that they shouldn't be able to win.
Yeah, it almost feels like they've decided, hey, we're going to go for this Dragon Soul first. We got another 3 minutes.
Maybe.
And they've done a good job avoiding like a Taliyah side play where GAM, you're a little bit worried about them, you know, chasing one of your side laners down, like you're talking about some of the hesitancy moving past the halfway point. If there's like a Taliyah wall and something and pick somebody off, they don't want to let GAM get, of course, Noah's bounty as they play.
Yeah, look, they're really committed to this bot tier 2 right now. It's an easier, safer objective. Jun and Noah kind of controlling the bot side jungle to make it harder for GAM to even approach and assist Kiaya on the bot side of the map. Meanwhile, top lane, Oscar continues to create this massive wave. We'll see if Fnatic convert anything off the back of that. Nope, they're just going to keep the pressure up. They have their eyes set on this bot tier 2.
Yeah, if you just continue to keep pressure up on bottom over here, then you can just starve out all of vision leading up to the Dragon as well for this fight. So 2 minutes on the clock still.
Maybe just a siege for the time being. Levi gets poked on the side as well, but the siege continues. This time works out well. Weaver's wall zones them off though. The shockwave brings in 3 off the edge and Razork flushes in for the Crescent Guard. They've done the damage for Fnatic. Need the kills. Razork absorbing it all, and his fear becomes death. Eventually, Oscar joins in too. Levi got to the backside, but he can't finish the job either. A couple of whiffs, a couple of movements, but Fnatic still remain on top as Easy Love is next up, and Noah's still a threat. Finally, with Fnatic showing their moves again.
A great shockwave from Humanoid means that GAM can't really commit to the rest of the fight. Levi finds a nice angle onto the back line, but
Fnatic got pretty much everything they wanted. Resort doesn't have a shutdown,
they shut down Razork, but it's not quite enough as Fnatic. They extend the goal lead even more. They secure the tower, and all starts off with Jun's arrow.
Exactly, as the tower is getting whittled down here. And then on the escape, they got the volley slow into the W slow there from Razork, and Razork took it all the way in. There's the shockwave that you're talking about. Then Razork follows that shockwave by going for the ultimate play there to further separate them. And as you're talking about hysterics on the backside, Levi is there, but he just gets focused down.
A nice fight overall from Fnatic. They find 3, they get the tower. I already know what's being spammed in the chat. Guys, he was there, and that's what matters, okay? He was there.
Well, gents, I think we need to set up. It's been a slower mid-game, but Ocean Soul's coming up. Arrow's going to come through, and that speeds things up again. Razork from an angle. Oscar running forward. Again, the Crescent Guard good. Sends Elio into the rest of the team, and the damage is too much.
Building
now,
2 support
Fnatic
items
continuing to
is
switch
wild.
on, exposing GAM from coming out from their safety net. Eventually, Fnatic are going to move this Dragon, and Gam are at a disadvantage again.
That was a sick knockback.
Kiayu with the shockwave creates another Razork for the knock-up. Hysterics Gauge saves his life, but into Humanoid at full HP. Fear Beyond Death does nada. Easy Love and Emo running for the life with the Fate's Call running through as well. Our Observer thinking, wait a minute, where's Jun going to go? But still another for Fnatic and an Ocean Soul easily done.
These Razork knockback plays are looking pretty sick here. Nice and smooth from him. And Gam, they just have no recourse here. Kiayu now down on this one, and even though he'll have his Unleashed Teleport when he gets back up, you know, Dragon Soul's already picked up there by Fnatic. They're feeling
there's so little damage on the side
you
of
have an Ocean Dragon Soul.
Gam.
Your Baron starts are so easy.
He's getting away with building a Locket and a Knight's Vow. And he's like, okay, now I start building actual items.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that often the
like,
tool of Baron and why you'd want to use it as a way to force fights is if you have.
I mean, Locket and Knight's Vow is like what? It's like 5,200 gold or something like
what they
that?
were playing against. They saw
That's
the gold
crazy
lead
amount
and
of
they said, you know what?
value
As long as we maintain this gold lead,
what
are we really concerned about in the scaling front? I don't think the Gam's composition is really getting out scalers, so let's do exactly what Kobe said. Let's instead prioritize playing around the Dragons. Let's instead play around these neutral tier 2s.
The more damage Noah does, the more healing Desante gets.
Very good
So,
job
like,
of controlling the game. They've
even in all-out mode, he'll be at full percent threshold of speed.
Ultimately, it's still gone in the way of
Fnatic,
and they find themselves nearly 10,000 gold now.
Execute.
Fnatic just on the edge of this game have been for a while. But now that it's continued to evaporate as we see an arrow follow through, it's Gam's chances that are going to move against match point as Elio is caught on out. The next grass comes through, but Razork again absorbing damage. He's controlled this game, and let's not forget, the reason that Fnatic are going to win this game 1 mainly stems off this guy that is now setting them up for Baron versus a 5v4.
That Jensen had some really good
Levi's still alive, means that there's a potential for a steal, and Jun and Humanoid, their responsibility is keeping him out of the pit.
Tiaya needs a Fear Beyond Death, Beyond God. Sonic Wave, Humanoid goes golden, you got counted! Levi trying to run in, but he won't get a kick anymore! The Zhonya's from Humanoid, exceptional. And as is Fnatic's performance opening up this series.
Mission accomplished. Levi denied access to the pit. Oscar, though, in a bit of danger here.
He's with the boys. The arrow comes through. He's got a helping hand. He's taken on the world. The turret will go down, but Fear Beyond Death needs a little bit more. He's got the Ocean Soul, but hang on. Fear finally comes through. Kiayu doesn't get anyone with it, though. He ends up getting traded off. So Baron away from one member, but as Gam, you're grasping at straws, you're grasping at whatever Fnatic have to offer at this point in the game.
Gam are being herded right now. Emo is trying to escape, but it will not be enough. Jun, oh, he's found him.
Okay, Easy Love, all right, find something here onto Jun. Wait, Fate's Call, that's unfair. And at 31 minutes, at 20 kills, Fnatic still clean house.
Yeah, look at Humanoid. He was already beelining it straight down mid lane. He finishes up with that turret with the thanks to the help of the Baron buff here for them. And Fnatic, after that little bit of fun, chasing down some extra kills through the jungle, will get their reset off and return to finish the job. This was so smooth here from Humanoid, because you know Levi's coming in for that kickback.
Very well played. Nice use of the Zhonyas. And yeah, I mean, Razork sets him up, but Noah's knocking him down. Boys, 10-0-7. A big confidence booster for him after the series against Top Esports, where it really was the Jackie Love show. And I think it was Kobe that said it at the start of the series. It really does feel like that the team has played around to give him that confidence and to set him up for success, and he is delivering for Fnatic right now.
I mean, the Arrow Strong bot side
Levi's got a Van America good, but they're so far behind. It's just not funny. For a 13,000 gold deficit of 30 minutes,
it's been great to watch, especially in this first game, opening up the series for Fnatic. They don't want to let the West down today. It's already been a harsh day.
Oh, okay. For the West, can I just jump on your guys' side now?
You definitely can. You're welcome.
That's how it works, right? Doesn't EU and NA get along?
I'm down.
All right. Levi's going to get away, but he's on the wrong side of the map, by the way, so they're going to chase him down.
I will admit, chasing him does feel like a bit of a waste of time for Fnatic.
Yep.
And
is it a waste of time if you're having fun?
Yeah.
I love hide and seek.
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you, Dad. Let's see if Fnatic can end the game.
I think they can, Vedius. I think right now with the Weaver's Wall, it's only buying a bit of time. I mean, Levi, he's doing the SOFM right now, trying to get an ultimate flank from downtown. This guy needs to get on a train, though. Next one leaves in about 5 seconds. There we go. As he runs into Central, he realizes, hang on, do I have to get a change here? Wait, onto Humanoid, it might be a setup though, but Oscar Rinnan's the one that gets flipped. No chance at all. The shockwave comes through. Even with the shove, even with the damage, the arrow follows suit, and Oscar gives the setup over to the rest of Fnatic. From the start, this has been their game to lose, and they haven't lost sight of it. Yes, things got slow, but still at the end, there's no one-shots. This team's shown up massive, and Gam may have had the element of surprise against Loud, but opening up the series here today, Fnatic on a whirlwind of emotion, thanks to the West from before, open up with a bang to this qualifying series.
All right, one more game, hopefully.
Very,
damn, that's crazy. Like, what, am I gonna go to bed before like
opening from
8?
Gam originally was pretty
Insane.
good, but when Fnatic get their bottom...
Alright, we're back for what might be the last game
it's an effective way to stymie
of the day.
To the game dominance.
And then we'll watch, well, I won't record the Josh boss.
They
they
already took out the Ashe, and they actually want to get both of them. So remove both of those. Noah's presence as well as... Oh my...
They go to Lucian. Okay, so Fnatic played against top esports and said, I want to be Jacula.
Yeah.
Give me those 80 carry bands. I got another one. Okay. And I love this version of them. So we're going to get to see the Lucian army bot lane. Something that Fnatic didn't traditionally leverage throughout the year, but it seems to be a trend among some of our bot laners this here at MSI that while we haven't expected it, it's something that clearly has been a high priority here.
Yeah, and then we get Easy loves Zeri again, really preferring this champion at MSI, comboing it with Elio's Nautilus. They're going to have quite the possibilities here. I mean, it's interesting because they can always still think about lane swaps, but the dive pressure from Fnatic was just absolute in the last game.
I mean, with the champion like the Xin Zhao, right, it was looked at for a second there by Razork. Maybe there's a steal away, but regardless, I think Razork should be happy with his performance and how we set up that game one on this specific champion. As now with the Lucian army, it's all angles bot for Fnatic again.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense now. Gam, do they want to get jungle for themselves, or perhaps they want to lock in their mid laner? Things like Azir, of course, still available. Orianna up too.
Talia.
The Talia, a possibility. The question is, do they consider it something that needs to be prioritized?
Rumble instead.
Rumble blind. Not what I was expecting, I'll be honest. Kiaya, though, wanting to get his hands on a strong top side, and Gam saying we want to save our jungle pick for later once we see a little bit more, perhaps, of what's been taken off the board.
Yeah, Kiaya's Rumble, one of the most fearsome champions here for top side, and a way for them to have a good team fight as well. I mean, they already have the Nautilus lockdown, trying to pin them down on some of these burners. See what they can do here as far as whittling down on the possible champs to pick into the Rumble, though. They go for Cassante ban on the first one. Of course, we have seen a lot of people attempt the lane swaps into the Rumbles.
I think that's one of the adaptations as well. Like, Rumble has been pivoted in a lot of lanes. What we talked about, the Rumble getting no resources, but other people have found ways around it. I think best described when we watched the last series of Arja from PSG. Really show us what it can do at level 6 once it gets to levels and how it can evolve. And especially with some of these bans that, honestly, Oscar Rinnan would commonly take. Cassante's a big one for anyone out watching the LEC. Udyr as well, even though we've pivoted away.
Did they ban the Lee Sin also, or go for the Maokai?
Yeah, I was wondering. The thing about Sejuani Maokai is, like, if you go Sejuani Maokai into Rumble Nautilus, it's like a huge Merc Treads game. Yeah. And I don't think that they're a huge fan of it. The Wukong ban, I think, makes a lot of sense. I was also thinking the possibility of Jarvan, but Jarvan and Lucian is a little bit,
Yeah.
So Gam's options for jungle seem somewhat limited to me, that can best leverage the strengths of the composition that they have right now. They want something that can assist them in the team fight, and Nocturne is going to be the answer. Okay, so if you really want an old school throwback, 2017 World Championships, it was Levi's Nocturne that kind of drew the attention of the world with his ability to get to that level 6 as quickly as he did. He did take down Fnatic in that game at that year's World Championship. Let's see if he can channel some of that energy today to equalize this series 1-1.
Get the super leash all the way to the level 6 super early on into the game. We'll see. We'll see as far as the surprise towards the end here.
So a staple round out for Fnatic. A strong mid-jungle duo. The crucial thing about this is it's very heavily invested in a powerful early game, which leverages the fact that Xin and Ahri have great skirmishing. You have a pushing bot lane 2 versus 2, and you want to try and leverage mid-prio into then attacking the bot side of the map, while Oscar acts as your frontline tank engaged later on into the game. Whereas Gam is much more committed to the team fighting. A lot more scaling, a lot more about the 5v5. It's going to be a question of, can we slow Fnatic down enough to get the fights that we want?
Yeah, my main worry for Gam is like, how are they going to keep people in place? Like, they have to get a really good Nocturne Orianna combination off of a Nautilus ultimate, or else it's going to be so hard to keep people on this Rumble ultimate and burning. Because Fnatic, they have so many dashes. I mean, these are very slippery champions with the Ahri and the Lucian being the carries. Then Xin, if you're not, you know, he can ultimate. If you're not inside, it's going to deny so much of that damage there too. So it does feel like Fnatic have a lot of answers.
I think as well for Fnatic, I mean, playing towards the strength of the series we've seen so far, the fact that Noah and Jun got ahead, the fact that Razork was able to dive bot on command by Vedius for the setup. It was an incredible game 1. For game 2, similar conditions again. As we said, for Humanoid to be able to match that easier than he did on the Orianna for game 1 too is big, not only for the LEC, but for the West right now. Match point to run into the main stage. I think for Fnatic, I mean, they're showing great adaptation here. They're also showing great resilience. We know this team can be very explosive and also throw away leads that they've accrued, no matter how good their early game.
All right. Easy Love had some big Zeri games versus Loud, but not so big versus Fnatic the first time around. See if they can have the bottom lane go a little bit differently here.
The bot lane is going to be the priority for Fnatic. Let's see if Noah and Jun can make the magic happen once again. Gam backs against the wall. LEC second seed. This is Fnatic's first time in the new format, of course, for MSI. The last time we saw them at MSI was 2018, back with Caps on the roster.
True.
Since then, Fnatic have struggled really to fight for the top spots in the LEC. While they have made finals, G2 has been the predominant leader, with Mad Lions getting in the way every now and then. And a cheeky jump in from Rogue at one point.
Very true.
But Fnatic looking to try and make a name for themselves on the international stage once again, and this is going to be their first hurdle.
Getting through the invade, isn't it? I mean, for Gam, they're going to see that Jun's here. The ebb and flow gives the movement speed, and so looking to split the map again here with Levi on this Nocturne, rushing to 6.
Yeah,
smart.
Exactly. This is the way to guarantee that you're going to have bot lane go differently for the side of Gam. You split the map, forcefully split the map, have Nocturne take over there at red quadrant. A little bit of damage goes through. Can he dodge?
Fight this? No, doesn't indeed. So Noah wants to walk away. Ignite goes down immediately here. Good trade here from Gam, and with that dredge line, they secure a bit of pressure here in a 2v2 that is order going Fnatic's way in a normal state.
Yeah, already pretty nice opening there for Gam.
Level 1 early cheese.
Nice little jungle split there for them. Meanwhile, on the top side, the rumble into the Ornn, usually, let's see if Razork's going to be able to punish that matchup, because that's the flip side, of course, of Nocturne taking over down there.
Pressure line again comes through. This time, Noah's able to get a good trade back. Remember, there is sustain in this 2v2 that comes out of Fnatic the longer we go on.
But I love what Gam is doing right now. They're just, as Kobe was talking about, they're completely isolating this bot lane. They're looking to dive them at level 1.
Still only level 1, so the wave clear not going to be there under turret. Levi setting it up again. The fear's down, and first blood, it's going to be traded, but Easy Love gets on out. Now for Jun, he has to hold the wave, or at least hold the fort, while Gam walk away with first blood.
It's just such good adaptation, you know, coming out of the first game, as we might see a pass towards mid lane.
Emo might be in trouble. Flash charm, good response time and good reaction. As Razork actually tags him when the wind becomes lightning. He has flashed himself. Emo can't step up, or there will be a kill after all.
Now, this mid-wave is in a very awkward spot for Emo. He's going to be forced to overextend to clear that one out, and that's just going to leave him primed for a gank. Elio coming mid is crucial to help push out that wave, but immediately he's going to walk away. I think his primary goal here is to just clear out this vision. Exactly, and look, he's going to assist with the Hex Flash, providing that safety for Emo to be able to push out the wave and guarantee a safe back so that he can TP back into the lane. Good stuff from Gam in this early game, adapting to the pressure from Fnatic very well.
I just want to say the adaptation, though, is what we kind of saw in Loud, the adaptation through the series, right? And this is why Gam have been complimented so far, because although Game 1 looks a certain way, Gam's ability to get back on their feet and adapt to team did in the first game is really nice.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, you dove our bottom lane relentlessly, so we're going to split the map and do it to you.
Yep.
Levi now will get the bottom side crab as Razork picks up the top side one too, so splitting the scuttle crabs. And then we look at second respawn here on Raptors. Razork knows that his Raptor timer is up, so he's going to cross and defend, make sure Levi does not steal away the second spawn.
We're going to be burned to get back to wave as well from Emo. The mid wave, as we said, was already corrected. Levi at Raptors for the time being, I believe, will be spotted out. There was a good entry ward placed by Fnatic as Razork started up in that top side as well. I'm just looking across the map at some small CS differences that have been built up thanks to this bottom lane lead, thanks to that dive. Easy Love's up about a wave and a half, even top side with the advantage naturally. Kiaya also doing well with about a 500 gold lead at this point in the game.
Yeah, such a big thing here for Easy Love coming onto this GAM roster and having some big Zeri performances versus Loud. Now with the early gold in his hands, with the power, with the positioning. Constantly we're getting Elio use his Hex Flash out of these brush too, looking for more and more trades onto the Fnatic bottom lane.
Fnatic, remember that their whole game plan was to really leverage the strength of this bot lane 2 versus 2. They want to try and attack mid and convert that pressure into bot lane pressure.
Yeah.
Now, Emo doesn't have flash, so step 1 accomplished. Humanoid working towards level 6 will be the next go-to button as Noah.
Great trade. Actually, they're doing it themselves. Flashes forward, double, auto, Easy Love burning, and down he goes. Noah and Jun do it again. Razork was there, but he was just cheering them on.
The cheer worked, and Noah goes all in. That was beautiful, smooth stuff from him again. Oh my goodness, Fnatic. Dude, Noah is on another level this day. I mean, series versus Jackie Love must have inspired him. He is completely hulked out.
He's definitely trying to channel his inner Jackie Love, that's for sure. And finding a kill like that, I wasn't expecting it. Easy Love definitely wasn't. Secures Fnatic a kill. Now, Oscar Rinnan is the one in danger. Only level 5, can he get 6?
Oh, he needs to clear this wave super fast. Searing charge, but no chance. He burns down. Kiaya, though, wait, has the scrap shield, and that's what keeps him alive. Levi there again, just cheering him on.
Yeah, nice calm calculation there. Does not want to have to burn the flash. Has the extra scrap shield to go off of. And a big dive there, too. So as Fnatic make a play on bottom side and Noah grabs his kill, it's going to be 1,000 gold advantage for Kiaya off of that. He got the turret plate, bunch of the minions dying up at the tower there, too. Pretty poor timing there for Oscar being stuck at level 5.
Now, traditionally, you would expect, given that a top dive has just happened, for Fnatic to actually invest into the Dragon.
Yep. But
the problem is that Noah needed to go back to base. So after Noah's basing, they realized that Easy Love is also going to come back out to base, and it would be awkward for us to try and force this fight. So instead, we're going to try and use our mid pressure to contest who we expect Levi to be starting on the Grubs. Noticing that Levi isn't here, that means that he must have gone back to base, opening a window for Razork to secure it. And this is just a good example of Razork having a great awareness of what he can and can't do on the map, and respecting the fact that, hey, my AD carry's not in a position to assist me, so instead let's try and make life difficult for the enemy jungle.
And after Grub buff, we know that, like, Grub is so important in the game. Really, in lane swap games and normal games, they define the early game, really. So 3 starts here for Fnatic. Well, Dragon untouched for the trade.
Because they have a stronger wallet.
I'd also say Noah's got to be a little bit worried right now because they still have his flash timer timed pretty well, and Levi is about to get level 6. So if Nocturne's going to have ultimate available and bottom lane pushes up, very, very dangerous scenario for that side of the Fnatic map. Elio does have his regular flash ready on Nautilus, could start up that play, and here comes Levi with that level 6.
Gonna try and fight over this red buff. Razork needs to smite this, not gonna be able to because he doesn't have his smiter. So Levi with the level 6 still has that advantage, and now Gamma looking to fight this.
I mean, this is gonna collapse, isn't it? Jun might be caught out. There's the paranoia. He runs in onto the Nami under turret. Finishes his job, if only just thanks to that set ignite. Culling not up and available just yet, but look at the EXP bar. Noah gets level 6 while the engage happens on the top side, and Razork kicks us off. He's got the Crescent Guard available now as well, but Gam's still nice and healthy and have numbers advantage.
Gam don't overplay their hand. They are happy with the single pick, and they're going to disengage off the back of that. They see Razork, they're a little tempted, but no, they say that's fine, we'll walk away with the kill.
I'd say actually Jun with a little rare mistake this time around, and Nami walking up there and allowing for the hook in. that we're kind of saying that's the play that GAM are actually looking for with the level 6 Nocturne, and then getting that hook right for them for Elio just allows GAM to pull off that play. Another nice one from them.
I'm cringing a bit because I'm wondering if this hook's going to come out. The wave's getting cleared. They don't know Elio's there. They assume they at least stop the base. They don't know who, but again, good resilience from Noah and Jun not pushing up in the wave. As meanwhile on top side, I guess we're finding out why people hate Rumble as a tank player. That guy is shredding harder than that 150 kilo.
Flame Spitter does percent health damage.
Now we look for Levi just towards Dragon, taking it himself with the pressure through bot side and the reshove that he's loving Elio have acquired.
A relatively late first Dragon of the game, but GAM still going to be happy to secure this one. Humanoid actually going to be able to make his way down.
Bot lane should arrive pretty quickly here for GAM,
I don't think they can stop this, but they can be annoying. A Fnatic, well, it's a Fnatic classic. They did used to have Hilly on the roster, so it's kind of in their DNA to just be annoying at times. It also just buys a little bit more time for Razork on the top side. We're going to look back at this play from earlier. You talked about it, Kobe. They wanted to fight this. They thought that they were stronger, but crucially, level differences in the bot lane. Level 6 secured for Easy Love, and crucially, level 6 secured for Levi when it wasn't available for Razork because of that red steal. So definitely a bit of an overstep from Jun, underestimating his opponents.
Yep. Definitely a little questionable there, and GAM very happy to roll with it, because GAM has been a team that is also very good at snowballing here. So let's see what they can do. Levi's ultimate back and available up once again. Nocturne constantly trying to make these laners play even more safe, make them respectful of this GAM power.
Now, GAM's early game plan has worked. They split the map, they denied resources away from Noah and Jun, they then attacked Noah and Jun, and while there was a blip in terms of the fact that Noah was able to find effectively a solo kill in the bot lane 2 versus 2.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Lucian Nami is a duo. That is a pairing.
Yeah.
you get your credit for putting those buffs on.
Sure, that's fair. Point is that it was a minor blip for GAM, but overall their early game has gone to plan. They have advantages in the top side of the map. They've neutralized the bot lane 2 versus 2, and they're in a comfortable position. Now Humanoid has the Malignance. This is when Ahri's ultimate no longer has a cooldown. And this is where I'd love to see Humanoid getting involved in the map a little bit more, because we talked about it earlier. The team fighting power of GAM's comp is strong. And Fnatic need to be a little cautious heading into the mid and late game.
Indeed, but Razork, as he gets spotted out, you can see Levi's hovering around the bot side as well, just noticing Jun almost getting the Aqua Prison. Culling was used for that. So that is the Lucian ulti down to try and find a pick after GAM. We're up in the wave.
Yeah, Levi here hovering for the counter gank. Nocturne ultimate ready, finishing up Gromp.
Invade time. Is anyone going through? No. Again, Razork just trying to poke his head in, see what he can find. Levi's camp's already down on this bottom side as well. So Razork, as he continues to hover, just see if he can get anything done with a dive. But Shockwave, meanwhile, comes through mid onto Humanoid. He holds onto the Spirit Rush, he holds onto the Flash. So, again, the word resilience has to be thrown around, but it's small wins.
Levi left. Levi went to go get the grubs.
He did.
So this is going to be another dive.
Wave's thin, though.
Humanoid's coming too. Oh, he can't. He goes for the recall. Okay. They've got the timer there. They clear the wave. GAM gets the grubs. Humanoid stops his roam down towards bottom side. And honestly, this is going to be a big, big win for GAM, the pressure gals. But the teleport play.
Will flash away from Call the Forge God. TP from Humanoid was just mentioned as well. The grub's still being taken. Still a couple left, but for Humanoid, as he walks down, he's going to see if he can pop anything else.
I mean, this play was twofold, because Fnatic was concerned about a potential dive onto Oscar with that stacked wave, but also they looked for a potential play. They do get the flash out from Kiaya. The problem for Fnatic is they did lose a play in mid. Emo had to push, but now they're going to actually send Humanoid up towards top. They send Noah and Jun into mid, and so they're going to shift up the map a little bit more, try and get Noah and Jun out of this isolated 2 versus 2, because they realize bot dives aren't really an option anymore. That window has passed, and now they need to transition into this mid game and start looking for skirmishes and fights as the Dragon is spawning in a minute and a half.
Yeah, that last sequence was very, very positive macro sequence from GAM, critically with their bottom side being able to clear out that wave, avoid the dive there, grabbing the 3 grubs, so they're split now. No extra Void Mites spawning for either team, and now we get the Lucian Nami in mid with their single item power spikes. That kind of fun part of the game with your Imperial Mandate burst on top of your Static Shiv burst.
And again, keeping mid push, we know is the Lucian Nami's game state. That's what they want. Noah and Jun want to at least get something here so that Gam can get punished for the side lane plays they try to make. Levi, speaking of which, onto Oscar and not going to get too much success here, but still the hover is there. He's already had one good Nocturne ulti. That's all he's had to do. As Nora and Jun try to get the push up here, 45 seconds before Chemtech Dragon spawns.
Now, Humanoid doesn't have TP. They're sending him towards top lane. I don't love this for Fnatic, mainly because Kiaya is going to get a base off, spend some of the gold. Sork Boots picked up along with the Amp Tone. I was expecting him to actually make a beeline towards mid so they can set up for a contest around this dragon. This is going to leave a window open for Humanoid. He can catch the next wave, then rotate down through the river. Herald also spawning. Perhaps Fnatic make the call to abandon the dragon fight and instead prioritize the Herald so they can start sieging onto the mid tower, open that up, and then start looking for picks in the enemy jungle.
Problem going to be Kiaya's wave clear though. Humanoid pushing up, no equalizer available as Humanoid pushes in and tries to threaten. There's Spirit Rush as well. Malignance comes into clutch as well, and Kiaya just sapping damage. The culling follows through as well. Aqua Prison, fantastic from Jun. Fnatic with a kill. It's at the cost of the dragon, but at least that Herald we talked about is going to go down in response.
Yeah, and then you just look at the push on the towers here. So Easy Love is going to get some damage on mid tower. Then you have Emo on bottom side as well pushing in towards Oscarin. But that was kind of surgical. You know, they're like, you know what? You're going for dragon for sure. We send 4 people up top side. We will answer it with the Herald plus the bonus kill on the Kiaya. As you mentioned critically, you know, that cooldown for the ultimate wasn't there for Kiaya for the Rumble to safely clear the wave. And so Fnatic do a good job there forcing on it.
Still though, I think Gam aren't too upset about it. They've gotten their second dragon of the game. They've secured the mid tower as well. Fnatic at best can use this Herald to exchange the mid towers later on into the game, but in terms of weathering the early game storm, we talked about it in draft. Gam's game plan was to mitigate Fnatic's early game dominance and pressure, and they've done an incredible job.
Nice card lane economy snapshot there for you. The Rumble in the tank matchup, who would have guessed? I think more so the fact that Levi also has been continuing taking away camps as well, countering Razork. And the main point, to reiterate from Vedius, the early game has been stymied. Yeah, I used the word, didn't I? It's been stymied.
Proud of you.
And now it's up to Fnatic to push the tempo with mid-jungle or maybe bot side as well. The flash from Levi. The full-on play is just there. Jun caught out the equalizer, great as well. It's a good charm, but no one just stands and fights. He's gonna die. It's a shutdown over to Easy Love as well. For Gam, it's still a massive win. They're TPing to stop the turret trade as well. This early game is so good for the VCS.
I mean, Gam are very quickly changing the momentum of this game. It was an even early game now into a very solid advantage, finding a punish onto the bot lane. Crucial ultimate from Levi. Easy Love picking up the kill as well. You can see he's got about a 500 gold lead. Fnatic is going to try and cross-map. This tower is not going to fall just yet as Humanoid looks for a pick.
Now, what's he cooking up here in the brush?
Flash. Maybe it has to be the flash to minion
Charm
wave
is
into
crucial.
the way.
Emo has flash as well, so...
Wait. Oh.
You gotta
Is he
wait
gonna
a
be
few
window
seconds,
shopping?
that's the thing, the window shopping.
Flash or Charm? Which one? Which order? Okay, Orbit Deception. Charm flashed away from. Okay, Emo gets a win, but there's the shockwave in return. Humanoid still dies. Stand and deliver. Emo does exactly that. There's a trade. Jun steals the kill, but man, that's still a win for Gam. It just keeps happening.
Yeah, Emo, the 18-year-old, stares down Humanoid in the 1v1. He gets the kill, even as Humanoid's teammates then come to finish the job.
And look at the consequences. Gam immediately into the bot side of Fnatic's jungle. They have their eyes on this tower. It's not going to be a real dive because there's no wave to play around, but they've got the push in mid. They're stealing away the camps in the bot side. They're setting up nicely for the dragon in about 2 minutes' time. Gam are playing the map well, and while the gold lead isn't ballooning out of control, this feels like Gam are just setting themselves up for success.
I mean, Fnatic are going to try. They're losing control of this game super quick. It's called the Fort God comes out. Easy Love's the next target. They find him. He flashes over, but still dies. Shut down, return. Humanoid now looking for the chase onto Elio, and Oscar in is a great position to knock him up. The Bellows Breath, he gets clapped, and Humanoid will find this as well. 2 quick kills. No objective down here, but gold goes back.
See, the problem with playing against Fnatic is they are a violent team. And so when presented with an opportunity for violence, they will take it. And as we see that they're looking at the mid lane tower now.
Wait, Shockwave uses the nuke, it's the submarine! Levi gets on the back line and it's a shutdown again! We transfer hands as Gam start getting messy with it, and Kiaya burns them down. The chase is there, and Jun has to get out.
Gam are an even more violent team. They take the fight, but Humanoid, he joins. Can he charm from the brush?
Searing charge out, but out of mana is Oscar and Kiai feel fine, but the Aqua Pression is beautiful. Humanoid needs an Orb of Deception. Doesn't find it, doesn't commit the flash. Walks out himself as well. And Kobe hit the nail on the head. Pound for pound again.
The Nocturne Orianna combo. We've all been there. We've all seen it. Levi unleashes and he lives too.
I mean, I love the response from Gam. They stare Fnatic down and they say, you want to go, we'll go. Great use of the ultimate. We're going to jump straight into that replay. The Orianna ball, the Shockwave comes through. Noah can't react. The Rumble ultimate on top of that immediately forces Fnatic to retreat. Razork being the only damage dealer at this point means that Fnatic are forced to retreat. And such a great play from Gam, showing that, hey, you may have found a nice fight, Fnatic, but we're going to do the exact same thing right back. A 1k gold difference separates the team.
It all stems off the early game. I mean, Fnatic found those 2 picks, but still Gam, you can see control that comes through Dragons. You can see the setup is there. Great innovation, great setup for the mid game. Is still what we look forward to is Fnatic try for a brush play, but Razork is spotted out. Gam moves the 5-man unit, trying to contest this Dragon. All right, Razork starting it off. I was expecting no engagement again. It is Fnatic. Double knockup, bounce out there. Culling as well takes out Kiaya. Shockwave's good, but the fight has already ended. Noah runs forward, almost taking Elio with him as well. And Fnatic just wait for them to come on in and capture the mistake.
Kiaya's entered the bounce house. The triple knockup. He doesn't even get his Rumble ultimate off of. Oscarin and Jun all knocking him up over and over and over, and Fnatic will put a stop to the Dragon stacking of Gam.
Arguably the biggest weakness of Gam's composition is it's difficult for them to face check, because look at what you're face checking into. Lucianami, the Ornn as well. I would argue that Fnatic showcasing some of their mistakes in how they love to fight 4 versus 5. Humanoid wasn't there, but they're still able to turn it into a pick and a dragon.
The surprise factor, even better than the Humanoid factor there from the brush. Just honestly, I kind of even want to take another look at the CZ chain because it was really, really good there from Oscar and Jun to keep them locked down. They grabbed their kill, they grabbed their objective in the aftermath as well. This one is spicy. I like it. Gam here fighting every step of the way. But Fnatic now kind of closing in. They've got the push on bottom side, and that means Humanoid is going to roam up to the rest of the team.
Razork can't be caught out here. The Scrying Orb going to see. Easy Love and Alio get zoned away in the meantime. As you said, it's neck and neck. Gold is even in a game which felt so Gam dominated. Some great Levi ults, some great syncing up, especially with the bottom side. Their counterpunch was beautiful. But Fnatic again continuing to fight, and Humanoid now with an angle as well. The setup is here for what could be a game-breaking fight that could edge towards this Baron.
And biggest difference this time around is that Noah now has his flash, so he can flash when the Nocturne Orianna combo comes for him this time around. Try and break the fear tether, since Levi doesn't have a flash to early follow. So maybe he won't get bursted all the way down if Jun heals him. We'll see about the positioning.
Gonna track items here, gentlemen. Easy Love almost towards the third. The Zeri
third the Ornn items are starting to come in. I mean,
what could be the next fight?
Stats-wise,
on his third already, actually. Fight the early game gold disadvantage.
Yeah.
Looking towards mid as well. Horizon focus there. 2 items each apiece on these majors. Top laners, okay, 2 each as well. Oscarin is starting to upgrade items on the Ornn. We've got to remember the scaling and the additional gold value that adds as well. But all things considered, when Gam's back are against the wall once again, they are making it difficult. And they are definitely still able to nuke 1 target, depending on what happens. Culling starts it off. Easy Love took it all. Alio interrupted, and he's caught out. What a pick! What a pick! Fnatic setting up on Easy Love, and Oscar and Zolf sets up another.
That's got to be Baron, right?
That's huge.
Really nice pick from Fnatic. I will say,
wow, Lucian damage.
So they use the Lucianami, but that is a great example of exactly how you're supposed to use it. Mid lane control.
Take an entire culling, literally does 80% of Zeri's health. Pushes
and now the Baron is on the cards for Fnatic.
But there's big ultis here, so they go in instead. Shockwave hits 2 members, and for Fnatic, still finding the damage. Levi turns the lights off, but he jumps on a target that can jump away. Noah picks up that kill, and Just like that, the smite is removed. Fnatic are back in this game in a firm way. It was 2, it was Fro, it was back and forth. Kiyaya's ulti down and out. He burns down Noah, but the charm comes through from Humanoid. He goes golden for the time being. He flashes, he takes down Noah. The shutdown good, in fact, that's the Baron damage. Kiyaya on the top side trying to survive. He buys more time, Oscar, and finds him, but Ilio gets the engage. There's an Orianna behind him. Easy Love's back up alive. They stop the Baron.
Yeah, they're looking for more.
Stretch line kicks us off. Easy Love's damage is huge, but a double knockup. Oscar in and set up, and that might be everything. Tidal wave down the line as well. Through River. Fnatic just do it again.
Humanoid with the charm flash onto Easy Love. They take down the Zeri. They put a stop to Gam's hope of the chase down.
I will say though, Gam wanted the Baron to stop, and they got what they wanted. It cost them an arm, a leg, a mid laner, a support, but they got Fnatic to stop the Baron.
Look at Kiaya, the miracle worker for Gam here, goes in, and you can see behind the Baron, Orianna is there. But this work is all Kiaya. With that flash, he flashes the knockup from Oscar, and he got the kill onto Noah. And then the rest of his team shows up to try and chase down, but Kiaya putting in so much work for Gam there, getting them off Baron. And then here, when you have the full health Zeri, and they're looking at the low health bars of the other Fnatic members there, they kind of wanted the chase down, but this knockup turn from Oscar into Humanoid following up with the guaranteed charm. Like, they tried to pick Oscar, and the Oscar just turns around and gets the knockup on the back line.
Jun's ult even came off cooldown, right? Like, the fight was so long. Gam should have just been happy with securing the early, well, forcing Fnatic off the objective, but they overstay and they get punished. Now Fnatic have their eyes on some of these tier 2 towers. They shouldn't be able to secure them. But look back at a play that happened in mids.
Yeah, bottom right, that's what happened during the replay.
All right, so a few flashes burn on the side of Gam. The Dragon available in 5 seconds.
But those ultis not up and available. The Spirit Rush is down, Culling is down as well. There's a lot of poke, and Call of the Forge God. A team fighting ulti for Fnatic's also down. This can be done as they all engage, so Levi's ult. It's submarine time again! They nuked the backline of Fnatic, they don't know what hit them. Levi's Nocturne does it better!
It's Gam time, but they're still fighting. Emo, he goes down as well.
Razork's trying, but at the very least, all their damage is still down. Easy Love's cleaning out with Kiaya, burning up the backside. Gam, don't give up.
The Wombo combo was phenomenal from Gam. An absolutely exquisite display as they find a massive fight against Fnatic, and now the Baron is theirs for the taking.
Oh, what time is it? It's Gam time. It's Baron
Game 2
time
at least
as
is
well.
a really big
And
banger, so that's kind of nice.
Is going to get another item on the reset. Gam looking so fearsome in this Nocturne Orianna combo.
Look at the execution. They think they found a pick, but then the Nocturne on to 3. All of the carries get collected in the Orianna. Ultimate and Humanoid forced to retreat. The flashes come out from the bot lane, and while Razork and Oscar are able to get the exchange on the emo, the fact that Easy Love is still alive means that the team fight cleanup comes out for Gam.
Man, the Nocturne Orianna and the Rumble ultimate roasting them there. That is the dream ult combination for Gam.
And it's almost back up and available again. I just see the Nocturne ulti prowl into existence with Emo's Shockwave also accompanying. They can do it once more.
Yeah, look at Fnatic now. No flashes on any Fnatic member. Nobody is going to be able to avoid this.
But this time, Fnatic have ults. Hysterics did highlight it before. Those weren't available, but now way more tools to actually go toe-to-toe in the fight. Let's see if Fnatic can turn the fight around once again.
They spot out Levi. The Scrying Orb does its job. This Dragon would lead to number 2 for Fnatic and lead away from Soul Point. Gam had the ball on its target. That's Levi. Watch for the submarine from the Beatles. Emo and Levi starting up a boy band. Dragon at 6k, Call the Forge God. Levi's ulti's there. He runs in. Shockwave's only a one-man. It's onto Humanoid. They don't find the backline access, and Razork buys time. Noah jumps on in as well, and you say the re-engage is there. Razork knows he's going to die. Has to go in. Stops the play. Dragon Soul Point. Gam still get it done.
They get another one there. Gam picking up Dragon Soul Point and another team fight victory. They do sacrifice the Nautilus, but it's an honorable sacrifice there. They just lay the Rumble ultimate down where his corpse lies.
You can see how hard it is for Fnatic to actually find these good fights. The Nautilus acting as the front line, but Humanoid He tries to connect the charm onto Emo, can't quite find it. The shockwave connects onto him. He gets shut out of the fight immediately. And once he's gone, Fnatic are forced to retreat. Easy Love really coming into his own. We saw how good he was on the champion yesterday, and he's having another great performance against Fnatic.
Capital E for a reason. This is his game. A game 2 that keeps him in the running that the main stage
This might be a 3-game series.
so far away from. We see the same against Loud. And again, after game
I don't know if Noah can carry this.
I think for GAM, they're just the masters of upset, at least creating from what we've seen in this game. And the setup between jungle and mid has been exceptional when you consider
really gotta
that
upgrade
this hasn't
Noah's
had long
item
to develop.
Yeah, huge props as well for the replacement players here on GAM coming in late, trying to save this team. Emo and Easy Love, you know, under unfortunate circumstances coming in, but having some big performances. And it's something that you do need coordination with. The Nocturne Orianna timers have been really good from them, and Easy Love here now is in a position on the Zeri with all of this money to chase them down in the team fights.
1 or 2 team fights away from GAM losing the game, bro.
Doing the region proud.
The base,
So now,
they're running out of towers.
Wait.
There's
No
a decent
Baron,
amount of
no
towers
Dragon on the table.
for Fnatic.
Both teams are going to be looking to scale up a little bit more.
The entire outer ring
You
is
can
still
see
up.
3 items for both mid laners. Death Cap finished for Humanoid, but level 17 for Emo. This Orianna is a real threat, even without the Death Cap. The Nocturne is continuing to get tankier. The Rumble is doing so much damage on the backside. And it's going to get harder and harder for this Lucian to play relatively short range. The Culling can do some serious work, but this Nautilus is acting as such an effective front line. Fnatic need to be more creative with their flanks if they really want to come out ahead in these fights.
I like that you mentioned Humanoid's items because as he hits level 16, it feels like he's the target that we want to see with access to the back line, making that creation happen. Also want to mention that even though at the top of your screen, folks, we've been back and forth in gold, it feels tighter than it is. It feels better than a 2k gold disadvantage because the Ornn item upgrades are coming through. I'm surprised to see Razork with an upgrade there without one going towards Humanoid or Noah, giving them more burst damage coming up. What happened in our bottom right? Oh, why are we replaying that?
Wait, he ulted for it.
Wait, he ulted. But it's on a short cooldown. But
I love you, observers. I love you so much. That was
bro, that was the nastiest replay I've seen in the international. What was that?
That was the observers investigation.
Oscar in an
Beautiful
upgrade,
stuff
someone's
there.
All right. Let's set
The
up.
-1. The minus one heard around the world.
Okay, here we go. Where's the Nocturne?
Oh, actually finding a pick. Yeah, we want to see first how the Forge God comes through. It actually knocks Levi on the backside. He uses the darkness to stop the play following through. We're going to look at a timer on that because it's a minute till Baron. It's a minute 30 till Dragon.
That was probably the highest value.
Oh, it stopped. It stopped. Humanoid matched it. It stopped and Kiaya's almost dead. He has to get out of range though. If Humanoid stands and delivers, he will die. He spaces it out onto Kiaya. He gets the shutdown. 50 seconds till Baron.
Oh, this is so good for Fnatic. That Ornn ultimate from Oscar, it got the ult trade with Nocturne, and it also got Emo's flash. The Orianna now no flash.
True.
Then the interrupt and the kill here for Humanoid. Fnatic setting themselves up for a big Baron play.
Razork trying to steal what camps he can, knowing that they have the numbers advantage right now. They have their eyes set on this top tier 2, and I don't think GAM can really do much about it. GAM, a few small picks. They're letting the game run away from them. You can't afford to make these mistakes against Fnatic, but they have their eyes set on trying to cross-map in the mid lane. They've got a lot of vision control around this Dragon. 38 seconds till the soul spawns, and they've set themselves up for success on that side of the map, at least.
Yeah, let's see if they can punish this no flash on Orianna now. A lot of gold picked up too. You know, the kill on the Kiaya is one thing, but getting a secondary outer turret over there, 800 gold for the team. Very, very big. They get their reset off, head on over. GAM still have full vision coverage of the lead up here to Dragon, but Fnatic obviously have the minion wave control, and they can move on in and clear it out.
Well, the Forge God's still not available, but you can see Ball once again on top of Levi. He's looking for the back line to get them to a game number 3. It feels like it comes up to mid-jungle, and that explosion that will set them up and even lead them to an Ocean Soul. They're on Soul Point as Fnatic try to deny and look for the pick mid. No charm connecting as we continue to ARAM up. But level 16 is Oscarinen. He's got an upgrade. He's got more gold in his back pocket. Levi steps up. Calm knock up there. Wait for the culling coming through. It's unexpected, but still there's Kiai's ulti's big. The shockwave comes in as well, but Noah flashes it. He's alive. Levi can't finish the job, and Noah sits in the turning circle as Humanoid walks on up, but Gamma low on their health bars. They try and turn for Oscarinen. It's Easy Love's turn to shine. Oscar flashes. The bubble stops. Dredge line too far forward. Humanoid charms as well, and Kiaya has to back away.
And the health bars, they're all so low, the flash!
Humanoid flashes, but he baits him, it's a ruse! Noah heads forward, gets the pick, flash again in the bubble. Jordan is so good, man! He gets a double for Noah, stepping up, Easy Love has to back away. They're not stopping here.
Fnatic, they clutch it, and they're going for the victory!
Noah! Heading forward yet again, I dropped my cup, Fnatic.
If he got that kill, they could keep on pressing, but Fnatic, after they get those chase downs, they'll retreat to the dragon, make sure there is no dragon soul this time around for Gam.
I made a weird noise at the start of that fight, and that was because Fnatic were forcing a 4v5. Razok was on the dragon. They should have just played it slow. Look at the minimap right now. Noah was leaving, and Humanoid went in. Trying to force this fight was a risky thing to do, especially when Levi found Noah, but he couldn't actually get the kill this time round. The peel was good. They find that initial pick, but the health bars get so low. Oscar gets dangerously close to losing his life. A good flash over the wall creates space, and then Gam overextend. The hook does connect. It baits Kiaya out, and this allows Jun and Noah to clean up the fight.
And this kind of snowball all started from Humanoid's charm. That previous charm that he landed on Kiaya to chunk Kiaya and get him here, and then Noah's able to follow up with his dash in, and then Jun says, I can get in there too. He flashes in for the bubble to set up another kill. And I thought Noah was going to be able to grab another one. If that W from Xin had hit right there, maybe it does complete, but what an exciting one. This is what people were expecting from this series.
But it's crazy that even after that fight from Fnatic, it's not over. They just denied Soul. The combo's still there. Everything's still up and available. Yes, some summoners were traded, but we still have the tools to look for as Baron is sitting there waiting for its member to take it.
Humanoid hitting level 18. Still gaining XP. I'm pretty sure that's not accurate on the overlay.
Oh my god, it's 18 and a half? Whoa, that's crazy.
We hit level 19, the patch is new.
Fnatic right now is setting up vision around
Emo
the Baron.
has been level 17.
Take a second to breathe.
Since Humanoid was level 50.
Fumbled in the last fight,
kind of crazy.
but we know how scary their combination can be. Fnatic using their pockets of vision to try and catch Gam out.
Alio too far forward, maybe caught out himself. The call the Forge got there with the shockwave in the back line. Layered with Kiai's ulti's big, but Humanoid buys time again. The culling runs through the middle. Oscarinen's already set up for the first kill, and Noah's still not dead. This Lucian needs to die. Look at his damage. Coming out again, the bottom lane of Fnatic are taking it all back. Gam found the early game. They stymied the mid game, but Fnatic holds strong in the late. At 36 minutes, Humanoid pivots for an angle, but you can see Fnatic as a 5-man unit want a little bit more.
Yeah, they do. Easy Love here, the kind of hope for Gam. This is Zeri trying to be as annoying as possible, clearing out the minion wave as Fnatic will head towards the Baron. They're going to force.
Still not over, is it?
It's scary though, because Emo and Easy Love is still alive. As long as those carries remain on the field.
They've got it. They've got it.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna move away. They don't want to take the risk, and instead Fnatic will secure their ban.
Gam sent a lot at Humanoid. They invested the Nocturne Orianna combination onto the Ahri, trying to burst him before he could get off his Zonias, but look at this. He gets his Zonias off. Here goes the force. They Nocturne ult because Elio there is in a tough spot, and they're going to force on him. And Levi goes in. They barely get it off. Humanoid barely got off his Zonias before that fear. And because he lives, the rest of the health bars here for Fnatic, their front line is just so much more healthy, and they're able to push off Gam.
Look how long it takes for them to get through Oscarinen through that whole fight with Jack Show activated. And the upgraded one at that as well, even at 3 items.
I was going to say myself, he's buying a lot of space. He's really pressuring the backline more than you would expect an Ornn to be able to do. A lot of Gam's success rides off the back of Levi and Emo landing that combo, which the last 2 fights they haven't been able to do. Fnatic now, Baroned up, are looking to try and cement the series win, move to the main stage, and knock Gam out of MSI.
They have been run through the ringer. Gam have made it hard. Somehow Fnatic are back in charge as Razork flashes forward, call the Forge God, finds Ori in the backside, and Emo's caught up as well, but they're diving a turret. Back on in is Levi, but he hits Razork. Not the optimal target. Running through to Kiaya, he's tagged out, almost dies himself. Noah charging again. Gam are low. They have to retreat. The inhibitor is at bare minimum.
A massive 3-man shockwave from Emo is not enough to turn the fight in Gam's favor. They don't lose any members, but they're still forced to retreat, and their base is left in tatters.
The frontline difference is just too much. If Gam cannot just assassinate either the Ahri or the Lucian, then they're not going to be able to win because the front lines are so beefy here on the side of Fnatic. That's why Gam keep on trying to full send into the backline, but Zhonya's Hourglass OP, and Humanoid and Noah both have Flash. So going to be pretty tricky to take them down.
Now they can take their time. Dragon spawning in 25 seconds. Fnatic can look to secure this, put themselves on Soul Point, and then start playing towards that top tower. They do still have 50 seconds left on the Baron. I'd be surprised if they tried to use it to push for an end right now, but with the power position they find themselves in, Fnatic have ballooned this gold lead to 7K. And you might not think that it means that much this late into the game, but you can see full item advantage. Fnatic looking for the fight.
And it's Razork as well. Humanoid flashes, but doesn't get the charming. Leo takes the damage. Shockwave again. Into the back line. Gam still have a chance. Johnny's dead. No Nami. Okay, no problem. Razork in the front line, though, still takes it out as the culling is doing work. Just when you think the Lucian's getting outscaled, you have to worry as Easy Love heading forward, but a double tap at Noah is relevant again. Humanoid about to go on in as a call the Forge God is a 2-man. He runs forward and they just tap him. It's a love bite. It hurts as Noah flashes away and Easy Love tries to match it. He's got the GA. He's playing aggressively. Noah, what are you doing? He steps up. Humanoid next down as well. Big mistake from Fnatic. They run into the Zeri.
Zeri, they're going to get the Ocean Soul as well. Even with super minions flooding into the Gam base, they take over.
Easy Love makes it look easy as he runs through Fnatic and 4 members drop. Fnatic overforce the fight. Gam are still very much alive in this game, and the Dragon is going to be secured. We look at the base, but I don't think Gam need to worry too much. They'll lose a tower, but with the Soul secured, Gam can still win this game.
They kept people on the edge of their seats yesterday. They'll do it again today. Ocean Soul, as you said, forget that Nexus turret, it matters not. You've got one standing, you've got the scaling and full item Zeri and the Orianna to boot. Yep. Gam are going to hold on. The potential of a Game 3 still lingers in the air. I'm sure we'll get a replay, but man, this game has been so back and forth.
Fnatic's aggression bites them in the backside once again. They could have just played for the Dragon. 25 seconds until it spawns. If nothing else, let the super minions do the work for you. Let them put pressure on the enemy base and then take your time around the objective. But Fnatic and taking their time are not sentences that you often use together. And they end up getting punished. Gam still in a difficult position with their base left in rubble, but they still have a chance.
What was the description you used earlier, Vedius? Fnatic are a violent team.
That they are.
Gam are also a violent team, so we're getting a very violent series here. And even with the inhibitors down, Gam feeling quite good about their retake here.
44 kills in 41 minutes.
That's it.
Fnatic. Oh, hang on a second. Humanoid, you can kill him.
Oh.
Guess he doesn't want to overplay his hand.
Well, you've got Ornn upgrades for everybody now. Everybody's got matching bling now in inventory for the side of Fnatic. A little bit of extra that goes beyond the scoreboard there. But there's a replay, I guess, just of the pick. All right.
Ocean Soul doesn't matter if you get burst out that quick.
I love these surprise replays. see what they're investigating this time around. All right, but here comes the push. 4-1 split push here for Fnatic. 2 inhibitors still down for Gam, trying to defend.
Humanoid's coming in off the re. You can see bottom side, he's pushing in. Remember, there's only one Nexus turret. If they can get a super minion wave in, it can still end. But for Gam, one team fight away from moving us to a Game 3, it feels like as well. If it goes long, Ocean Soul's there. Razork says no. Stop here. Inhibitor turret drops on down. Gam are poked on out, but the minion wave is moving on in. Razork re-engages. There's a shockwave backline. Again running through it. This time Levi can't do it. Noah sits alive. The double knockup's there from Oscarinen, and they're doing it. Ocean Soul be down. Fnatic bring it right on back. Their intuition reigns supreme. Fnatic keep going and going and going, and Oscar just doesn't running forward. The Nexus exposed, and this is what you get.
Let's go!
Against the wall.
Oh, thank God.
Get to the main stage of MSI, taking down the VCS.
I mean, Gam tried, but Fnatic was just the better team.
Work for it.
But Fnatic had many close throws.
Indeed.
I mean, what a banger final game. Gam had some incredible team fights against Fnatic, but at the end, the damage done was just too much. The pressure from the super minions was too many, and Fnatic were able to finally close things out. An honorable opponent. Gam has done some impressive stuff here at this MSI, but it will be Fnatic moving on to the main stage.
And Fnatic, this team, just consistently, okay, we're going to play again, we're going to fight again, we're going to fight again. Oscarinen, it was on tanks, but I think he had a similar performance to the top esports series. I felt like he was a carry tank that game as well.
A lot of really big Ornn knockups in this series. A lot of big ultimates. His turnaround with the E-charge after the Baron chase down to set up Humanoid for that charm follow through. Whew. It was a battle.
Alright, let's see that draw show. Let's see that draw show. I'll be back for the draw show.
So many passionate.
Alright, draw show time. Go, probably 5 minutes and then I can go to bed. Holy fuck, I'm dying, guys.
No, but all jokes aside, I'm looking forward to seeing who we're gonna face off against here.
So there's actually not that many different things that can happen in this
No,
draw.
I mean that's the thing. It's pretty much decided.
Yeah, the 8 teams have been put into 4 pools.
Yeah.
The top pool is the #1 seed from the LCK and the LPL, so that's going to be Gen.G and BLG. And then, I mean, based on the pooling, you got a great chance. TL and G2 are a higher tier than T1 and TES. So you never know. They're tier 2 teams, but that's just the #1 seeds from LCK, or sorry, from LEC and LCS. And then tier 3 are the first place teams for both groups, T1 and TES, and tier 4 are the 2 teams that play today. The reason that there's not that many different draw possibilities is the rule that was instituted from last year, where we're not going to get cross-regional matchups early on in the bracket. So that's gonna pre-decide a lot of stuff.
Good learnings from last year, and the draw order will not determine.
Yeah,
we will have this one.
Cross-regional meant that like all the good Korean teams are just eliminating themselves like in the main event instead of like.
Do you trust Humanoid's judgment?
I learned not to trust my teams. Sadly.
Well, I'll just say
not to trust my teams, but yeah.
If Humanoid wants to play BLG.
That's the thing, and for me, that's the confidence that matters here. And if he feels like this is the team that's gonna give them the easiest time,
given Gen.G's prime or whatever, I really don't think any team wants to play.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and I really want to see TL.
My question is, do you think G2, because they have to draw TES or T1?
I think they.
Who would they rather have? Who would you, Laura? Who would you rather G2 face?
That's a tricky one.
I would rather. Yeah. Okay, I think T1. I think T1 because I'm dead scared of TS's bot lane. Against
G2. Jackie Love.
Yeah.
But G2's swapping away from that in an instant.
Yeah.
They're the swap kings.
Yeah. They are the swap kings. They blocked this one in the LEC.
So, I thought you were gonna go for like the historic aspect of like, well, G2's had beaten T1 before. G2's usually been better against LCK.
Yeah.
Because like based off of what we've seen this year, like I feel like for sure they'd want to play against TES. Just because T1's the defending world champions, they seem to have this international aura about them again. They seem to always make finals in every single tournament they play in.
Also,
T1 has not looked the best.
They look slightly shaky.
Yeah.
You know.
And they're practicing lane swaps. They're thinking about G2.
What about TL?
For that.
Well, TES brought out lane swaps against BLG in LPL playoffs too.
I mean, again, if I go off of history, I'll say TL should play T1 again because man, they almost won that best of 1 Worlds 4 months ago.
Yeah.
But I just think T1's a strong.
All right, Gen.G is playing.
Let's see the first.
Right.
Gen.G.
We're gonna have Gen.G, of course.
I guess the first consequential draw is when he's moving to the other bucket.
Yeah. I'm glad that we solved the issue we had last year, the fact that each side of the bracket will only be allowed to have 1 team per region.
Yeah.
Avoiding the matchups that we had last year. I think it's going to make everything spicier as well.
Okay, so BLG's on the bottom side of the bracket. Gen.G's on the top
I think it's
side.
just going to make a much more I mean, it's
Okay, so the only way BLG plays Gen G
if we wanted to watch
is
Gen G versus
in...
T1, we got to. And we still might, but they're going to have to prove that they're better than the other regions first.
the semis?
All right, this is the moment.
This is when it becomes interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Team Liquid.
Team Liquid.
Okay.
Teal plays, I believe they're going to slot right up against Gen G then, you'd think.
Yeah, on
Or
the
no,
Gen G.
no,
They're
no,
on
no,
the
I'm
they're on the
trolling.
Gen G
I
side
am
of the bracket.
trolling.
Not
Now on the other
yeah.
side. Yeah.
We still don't know.
Because they're
don't
technically
know.
a first seed.
Well, obviously they're going to play Gen G after they win their first round matchup against Gen G.
Aha.
Of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
is what I was
I mean,
going to say.
it's expected.
Yeah.
G2.
Okay.
I think G2 is hungry after what happened at Worlds. I don't know if that's going to translate in good results, but
And they're
at
on,
least
they're
I
on
know
the
that they're
BLG
hungry.
side
Yeah.
of the bracket, which is actually like really, really interesting because I think the lane swap against BLG can be really effective because you want to avoid that elk on bot lane. They are hyper aggressive.
Oh, TES.
There we go.
All right. I love the smile.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny
Alright,
thing is
so-
TES, even if they weren't drawn there, they
How do we
Alright.
feel about this? Team Liquid versus TES.
Okay, so this is the upper bracket.
Like I said, TES, it's
Okay,
as fine
okay.
as it's going to be. Like, everything's a bad
That's
choice.
Yeah.
T1.
So G2
Alright, there
T1,
you go.
damn. Okay.
Careful what you wish for. Nothing
Yeah.
is easy here, but yeah.
You did say you'd rather have them.
Yeah.
So you did this.
We'll see. Yeah,
basically.
we'll see how hard it comes in by team.
Alright, now this is the important draw.
That's interesting.
Oh, it's Fnatic.
I'm trying to project
Yeah.
into what it's gonna look like on the race.
Oof.
Fnatic.
Oh, that's horrible. Okay, well.
Yeah, they go into the top bracket because they can't be in the same side as G2.
G2. So they did not get
Yeah,
what
Humanoid does not get his
Humanoid
wish.
wanted, and they will face Gen G.
So we get double LCK LEC in the first round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of these are good outcomes. Like none of these are like, wow, I'm so happy we got this. This is how brutal MSI
Would
is.
have we been
Yeah.
happy anyway? Like, that's
No,
It
there's-
is a
like I
very,
said-
no, it's a very, very Spartan tournament.
yeah.
Especially
Best of two
now.
evils, honestly.
But yeah, BLG PSG is gonna be. Whew.
Yeah, you're picking between raw Brussels sprouts.
I have to say, these are really exciting matchups, though.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
At
whether
least
you
it's
have
double
hope or not,
elimination.
These are really,
So
really exciting
G2 has
matchups.
two
BLG
chances
Fnatic, I
to-
know that Marek didn't want to have this, but I
G2
actually wanna see
Fnatic
this
have two
Shobi. I wanna
chances.
see-
Yeah.
I want to see
Tia's got a
if
chance.
Shobi can overcome his international demons as well. I want to see if T1 is going to be the team they were before LCK playoffs. There's a lot of
Alright.
interesting outcomes.
Well, that's the draw show.
that we can see.
we get
Hope you
Cat
guys-
Baker again as well.
I know.
Hope you guys enjoyed watching the play-ins with me. These videos have been doing rather well on the channel, and I'm like super surprised. So that does mean you guys do like league content. So I'm gonna keep making some more. I'll keep doing MSI as much as I can, given the circumstances. And I think the only day that might be a bit rough is going to be this coming Saturday, because that's when I have regionals. So I don't know if I'll be able to upload the VOD, because it's 2 best of 5. So yeah, like a 6-hour video. It might have to be like 1 best of 5, then another VOD, right? Like these 3-hour videos are. They take a toll on the upload and the bitrate. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and well, we'll see you, I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday for the start of the playoffs. Yeah, have a good one.